All right, guys. So welcome to episode 4, seconds out. We're trying to keep this thing going, make sure that we get to these weekly uploads so we can trigger that YouTube algorithm. And we need a Muay Thai podcast. We need a voice for the people. We need a voice for the gyms out here that aren't getting all the love that they deserve and stuff like that. And even just the people and mover shakers in the world. And if you're in the game, you already know my guy Leo from Forza out in Oklahoma. He's literally everywhere. Absolutely one of the best people I've ever met in the sport. I love you to death. I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh,
Let's get into it, my brother. Look at
I
that
love you
fly
too,
ass
man.
logo too. God damn. Bro, I literally
That's
love,
my boy.
like, every time I see it, I'm just like, I just want to stare at it. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's like one of the hardest logos of all time.
No, dude, you killed it. I remember when we were going back and forth, with the concept for anyone that doesn't know, Jason helped me come up with this, and now it's a brand, bro. It's a lifestyle, it's everything.
It's amazing. And it's like it's one of those things where like yeah, like I like it, doesn't- it that you had your you were like there's some things and you sent me some other like logos and stuff that you liked, like trying to kind of pin down like a vibe or whatever. And I had really, the only thing I had was kind of like where how the F is in my mind from Forza, just because I was thinking like racing or something like that. But yeah, you had a lot of awesome input, and that's one of those things. That's one of those pieces that I feel like I look at it and I don't even. It doesn't feel like something I made. It just feels like something that like occurred. You know what I mean? Like I felt like it was like just sent through me or something. It's just a fire ass logo. Like every time I see it, I'm like, I just literally like again, I just literally want to stare at it. It's so sick. And
Thank
you've
you.
blown it up. You know what I mean? Like you've
Yeah.
made it into. It looks like with everything you guys have done, it looks like a Nike or a fucking Off White or something. You're like, oh, what is that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that was I remember that being like the core of like what really I wanted it to be,
Mhm.
because like I didn't want to do like fight gym or you know anything like that. I wanted it to sound like a sports team, and I always kind of envisioned in my mind. I was like, man, you're probably the same way when you like get into something, you're gonna go all in, right?
Yep.
It encompasses you, right? So when I was starting the gym, even though it was like my part time, it was just something that I wanted to do because people were like, I just exited probably the biggest gym in Oklahoma, like facility wise and member base wise, and I was running everything for this guy on the Muay Thai and MMA side, which wasn't really anything. It was like a little side class. And I was like done with it. I was like, he wouldn't pay me, he wouldn't add classes, but he wanted people fighting out of the gym, which I thought was irresponsible.
Yeah.
So I quit. And then a couple of the guys that I've been working with over there, like they just knocked on my door one day. Were like, "Yo, we need you, like, bro, like, we need you." So I literally trained them in the park. I was holding pads out there and just like straight up kickboxer style, in the
Yeah.
beginning when they're holding pads in the
Yeah.
park. People were just doing their thing. It was me and these two cats. And I was like, man, maybe I should try to do something and just brand it because they were doing well at the time.
Right.
So that's where you came in, and I just really wanted it to be like you said, a vibe, like a brand, something like minimalistic but still catching the eye, and like something that people could wear and like really just like wear out in the street. You see some of these like MMA gyms and they got some corny ass stuff. It's like, bro, I'll never wear that out in
Hell
public,
no. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But like my shit, it's like, bro, it's crazy too, because you move around town now, like locally, and people will be like, "Oh, you go to Forza?" And if I want to talk,
You're like,
like
yeah,
if I
every
feel like
day.
talking, yeah, if I feel like talking, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I actually own the gym.
Mm.
If I don't, I'm like, yeah, man, I train there sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like they're like,
That's fire.
man, everyone's killers there. I'm like,
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
That's
But
incredible.
yeah, no, man, you like you helped me realize the vision as far as the logo goes. But I think that's for me personally, that's important,
Yeah.
because everything you do kind of supports that. And Forza, I wanted it to be a sports team. I didn't want it to be looked at as like a fight team.
Hmm.
Like even that, like I'll get caught up saying fighters, but for the most of the time, I call my guys athletes and my
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah.
And I did steal it from the racing game.
Yeah.
No, I'm Italian. I'm half Italian, so
Yeah.
it's in there too. But like, if you play the Forza Motorsports games, it's all like elite cars. Like you're not getting like these little Honda Civics and stuff.
Mm-mm.
It's
Yeah.
all it's all
Supercars.
high end supercars.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, man, that's what I want. I don't want my fighters to just be like the run of the mill, like tough guy. I was like, man, I want to make elite athletes, the technicians, like just really like the most elite high level supercar
Yeah.
athlete.
Yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Nah, it's
So
a
we
sick
got
name.
it.
It's such a cool name. My mom has it that had that word tattooed on her wrist, too. And I didn't even know until like last year. She had lots of tattoos. She was cool like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just sitting with her the one day and I was just checking her, just checking her out. And yeah, I saw the Forza tattoo. I think I sent it to you. I might not
Yeah.
send it to you
Yeah.
right
I
away, but I
remember.
definitely did at one point. And I was like, "Oh shit, that's so cool." Um, yeah, that's all. Yeah. Like I looked at it the same way too. Like and my, when back in the days, like with when people came out to battle, they had the banners like with their, their sigil on that shit. So I feel like you gotta
Yeah.
have like you gotta have something hard. It's gotta strike fear a little bit and just like it has to have something, it has to resonate something into people a little bit, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, that one definitely does that. Um and we also had you and me have similar stories in that sense. So we're coming from the other, coming from those other places where we felt we were both a little, well, a lot of it underappreciated. uh,
Disrespected.
yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
it's wild about um, like where I was at before Crazy 88. They now like pay, like a salary that you can like live off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was getting like $400 a week, like, you know what I'm saying? And I would like ran all the Muay Thai classes, trained
Yeah.
all the would be fighters, worked with Angla, any of the other MMA fighters that they were putting out, and then like ran the front desk during the day, answered
Oh, shit.
phones, like graphic design that I get paid for now. I just did for free basically back then, all the videos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somebody that's definitely like if I could afford to pay somebody to be me here, I would be like, bro, when can you start?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Uh, and then I'm obviously not a terrible coach either, so you would think like, but uh, yeah, it's wild how short-sighted sometimes people can be, and then I mean they really missed the boat with you over at that other place because I mean you're
Yeah.
definitely I felt bad actually when we were over in Chile and I met a guy that was from Oklahoma and I'm like, "Oh, do you know Forza?" You know what I mean? Because I'm like, that's all I know in Oklahoma. I just know
Yeah.
the Forza team. And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, of course, of course."
Nah, man, listen, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Dope people. They've been to the gym before, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think they're those guys are finding their way. They're starting to emulate, um, and bro, I put it out there. I don't try to gatekeep.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma's got a real weird, like, good old boy. I'm a transplant. When I started my gym, like literally probably everybody would have, like, anybody with any sort of business sense would have been like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like this is a mistake. Because it
Yeah.
was like I didn't even know people here.
Right.
I didn't even know people here.
Yeah.
Like I went work, gym. So the only people I knew were people over there. And like, I didn't tell anyone that I was opening a gym over there because, well, one, I just quit. I gave my notice and just faded,
Mhm.
and then when I decided to, I didn't want to tell anybody over there because I didn't want to, one, affect them, and two, and I don't want to start off with like people being like, oh, you stole the program, even though it was like kind of a program that I didn't necessarily build it, but I came in and restructured it and grew it,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. I lost my train of thought.
No, I see where you're going. You're just
But
talking
yeah,
about people trying to emulate your, and
yeah,
you're putting it out there like how you do things. Uh, and so you ended up out there in the first place
yeah.
for your regular the job, the other job for the
Nah,
airport,
actually,
right?
bro, no, no, no. What actually happened, man, is I was working in the emergency room out in Colorado in
Yeah.
Parker, and I was out there for like I want to say like 15 years, but my whole plan was to fight and go to PA school.
Hmm.
So I was just doing school and then teaching at UFC gym where it was LA boxing, and then they
Yeah.
bought it. So I was kind of just getting in where I could fit in, and that was my goal. I was like, bro, I can make not that much less than a doctor and go to like a fraction of the schooling. I was like, that's what I'm gonna try to do, but it
Yeah.
just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Um, and then I had my eye injury, my knee injuries, and that was that as far as fighting goes. So,
Yeah.
and then at the time, Hallie got pregnant with Harley, and she has kids from her previous marriage.
Hmm.
Their dad had moved to Oklahoma, and at that time, I was like at a crossroads. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna compete anymore. I was like, I'm not really feeling the medical field. You
Yeah.
know, there's some things that happen in that emergency room that kind of just fucked with me a little bit. And I was like, I don't think I can stomach that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man, my girl got pregnant. I was like, man, I have to figure this out. And at the time, Colorado was exploding in terms of like how crazy it was to actually live there, and it's worse now, but it was like, man, I can't support a family, uh, making what I'm making and paying what I'm paying to live out here. So it was like, um, the kid's dad had moved to Oklahoma, and Hallie was like, man, maybe we should just relocate. The cost of
Yeah.
living isn't crazy there, and then we don't have to give up the other kids for months at a time. Like they'll go
Right.
with their dad for a couple months, they'll go with me for a couple. You know, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Let's move them closer to their dad. That way, it's just like we can 50-50,
Yeah.
and yeah, we can try to make a life out there. And honestly, bro, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Um, it's funny too, because Hallie's the one that pushed me to open the gym, like really, really open the gym. Because
Yeah.
at first I was subleasing from a Taekwondo gym,
Uh-huh.
just renting the mats for 2 hours a night. And bro, I was trying to get a loan, and the banks laughed at me. They're like, "Bro, you're a musician. Like, you don't own anything. Like, we're
Right.
not giving you money."
Yeah.
So I came home all sad, and Hallie's like, bro, if you really want to do it, just sell all your equipment. I was like, I can't sell my guitars, my amps and stuff. Like I've amassed these over a lifetime.
Yeah.
She's like, well, you must not want to do it bad enough then.
Right.
It was like, damn, that one kind of sat with me. And
Yeah.
I sold off everything but like my main
Yeah.
guitars, my two. And yeah, as I've found success and made it to some degree, I've been buying them back.
Damn.
So I actually found one of the guitars that I sold, and the guy just totally gouged me on it, bro.
Yeah.
Like he was like, "Nah, if you want it back," he
He
like,
knew. He knew you wanted. What a
oh,
dick.
he knew I wanted it. He knew it was
Yeah.
like sentimental. I was like, dude, let,
Yeah.
let me buy it back from you. I did
Damn.
it.
Yeah. Fuck that, bro. Do that shit. You ever heard
Yeah.
that story about Sylvester Stallone and his dog?
Oh, no, no, no. I heard something about his dog, the one from Rocky. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was homeless, uh, living on the street. The only thing he had was his dog and that script. And he went and they wanted to buy the script from him. But he wanted to play Rocky, and everyone kept saying no. So he was like, "Well, then I'm not selling it." He wouldn't give it up unless he could play Rocky in the movie. And then it got to a point where he didn't have enough money to feed the dog, so he sold it because he's like, I'm not gonna let the dog starve. But it was like, his best friend. Like he didn't want to let the dog go. He just didn't have a choice. So he finally sells the script and gets the money, gets to be in the movie or all that stuff. Like everything works out. Goes back,
It's a dog.
buys the dog. Guy sells it to him for like 30 grand. But he
No.
bought it though. He paid the money
Yeah.
for it. You know what I'm saying? Which is fucked up, but it's like you can't put a price on that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's your
Yeah.
shit. You well, the sentimental value is whatever it's worth to you. So it could be priceless.
Yeah.
So that's fire, bro. That's a dope story to hear that you got it back. Oh, look at that pup right there. Let me see that dog.
Oh yeah, this is a storm. Storm. That's my baby right here. It's my
Hey.
pit. It's
Oh
my little
man.
micro pit. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping my dream is to in a few years buy a little land somewhere and start a rescue. That's what I really want to do for dogs and
oh wow.
cats. Yeah. Uh I saw this podcast. John Bernthal, the Punisher.
Oh yeah,
Uh
yeah, yeah.
he's got a sick podcast,
Real
man.
ones.
Real ones.
Real
Yeah,
ones.
it's
Yeah.
so good, man. Cause he just
Yeah,
like
he's good.
he brings like real people, like regular people on. He brings a lot of military guys on. Uh, he,
He's from DC. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, he says DC, but he's you know this area.
Yeah.
Everybody says
Yeah.
DC, but he's from like Montgomery County or whatever.
Okay.
I always tell him I'm like, bro, I'm from Maryland. I represent that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never
I just.
from DC or
Uh, I guess I lived in DC. I lived in DuPont Circle for a little bit.
yeah. You can say DC
Yeah,
then.
yeah, uh, but I lived in Maryland too. I probably lived in Maryland longer than I did.
Yeah,
I would say, and I lived in Virginia for a long time too. That's
yeah.
how I know
As
Steve.
Steve, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
so he had this guy on, Zach Scow, who's out in California, and he runs a program called Positive Pause or Positive something like that. I feel bad now. I'm messing it up, but and I know he has another thing called Marley's Mutt. So if anybody's watching this and you want to see, check it out. He rescues dogs and he rescues a lot of pits. A lot of the ones that are gonna get euthanized, like if somebody doesn't come get them, they have all those kill shelters and shit. And
yeah,
then he trains them and he takes them. He has a program where he takes them into prisons, and they teach inmates how to become dog trainers. So when they get out, they have like an actual profession that's not going to be like you're an ex felon, like we can't hire
yeah,
you. Like they can even start their own business and stuff like that. It's really dope. I'll send you a link to the podcast. It's really sick.
yeah,
And they'd have like a whole like it's in California, so you know how segregated all the prison system is because
yeah,
everybody like you're white, you're Mexican, you're black, like how the gangs are and everything. They pull somebody from each thing and put them in groups together, so it's like helping squash some of that stuff. They all got to work together. They can't get into
yeah,
any fights and stuff like that. And then I mean, you're a dog owner, so you understand like don't matter how hard you are, like when the dog comes around and stuff like that, everybody gets a little softer, and I think it's just a cool way to just kind of let their guard down and just be normal and be human to each other and stuff like that. So I really want to start something like that over here at some point. I think it's such a dope pro. Plus you get to save a whole bunch of dogs too, which is fire,
yeah. And probably some people in the
and
process.
some people in the process. Yeah, man. So
Yeah,
but yeah, anyways, I got way off track. My bad. Yeah, so you sell the stuff, you open the gym up. Take me through that process a little bit, like what, like mentally, like you're getting people in. I know because I know how you are, and I was the same way too. Like when I first opened and I left 88, and they actually tried Julius tried to set me up a little bit because he was like, whoever wants to go with you, I'll let them out of their contract. but they have to cancel this week. So I'm like, all right. And I know he expected me to like, message everyone and be like, guys, guess what? But I
Yeah.
didn't say shit to anybody. The only people I knew for sure, I knew like Aaron was gonna come with me. I knew Patrick Rivera was gonna. Well, actually, I wasn't 100% sure about Patrick just because he was more focused on MMA, and I knew I was gonna focus on Muay Thai. But I knew that he was gonna come train with me no matter what.
Yeah.
And then really just Jared and Aaron, Jared Tipton and Aaron were like the ones I knew for sure. And then Luther just was like, I'm coming with you. And I'm like, all right, I wasn't trying to twist nobody's arm. And then a couple people went and asked, like just like because they know like how weird that vibe is over there sometimes. So I think before just coming over here to train, they asked, like how we can we go over there, and they were just like, no, like if you want to train with him at all, you cannot train here. So
Yeah.
then that was how people found out like, oh, okay, like I can cancel my thing and this and that, whatever. But I didn't tell anybody shit, and I feel like he was trying to set me up so he could be like, see, he's a snake and he stole all these people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I wish I did now because I'm like, I feel like I was hoping to keep everything peaceful so that after like a few months they would realize like it doesn't make a difference. Like I'm 20 miles away from you, like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that we would just squash it and everyone would just be go back to they can come over here and train, whatever, and then it would hurt me more, honestly. Like if they're
Yeah.
smart, to be like, oh yeah, we can stay cool and they can just train with you for free and still pay us. Like that would have fucked me up
Yeah.
more, honestly.
Right.
So yeah, but and then at the same time, then they ended up always having beef with me. So I'm like, I should have just been like, fuck it, and
Yeah.
just told everybody to come because I would have started off in a better spot. I should have opened up in Columbia right next to them. Honestly, that's what I
Yeah.
wish I would have done. But yeah, you're a better guy than me. So I know you had your ways and you try to build up from there. So tell me like those early stages, like how things were going.
Well, dude, I'm really petty. So like, you know, at the forefront of like everything. So when it was Kyle Driscoll and this dude named Daniel Flora, and they were really good. Kyle's actually, killing it now. He went off to AKA and was
Mhm.
in Habib's Eagles MMA little camps out there.
Yeah.
And he's done well for himself. He just came back to my gym last year and we had a big win on Cage Warriors. But no, it was just those two. When they came, I was like, because I remember, man, when the owner, I went to him and I had asked him, I was like, hey, man, can we add classes? And bro, at the time, I'd have like 60 people on the mat for a Muay Thai class and
Yeah.
just people really getting good. That's where I met Dusty
Hmm.
Sparks. And yeah, I was like, man, can we add classes? And then can we talk about me getting paid? Because at the time, I was teaching for free.
Oh shit.
And yeah, he's got a whole mob of instructors, bro. And it's like he was one of these, man. It's an honor to teach at my academy,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
really like sells that. And it was
Yeah.
like, which don't get me wrong, bro. I have assistant instructors that are like volunteer. I've got a couple I
Yeah.
pay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to pay everybody, but if someone's bringing like legitimate value to your program, you got to take care of them. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
he said to me, well, to be honest with you, nobody's kicking down my door to train with the great Leo. And like, bro, I want to have like a wooden sign made and hang it up in the gym
Yeah.
just so I can look at it every day.
Yeah.
Because every time we pull something off, I'm like, because people move here now. People like travel here, like from all over the world to train at my school, like
Yeah.
to come in and like do a camp. Like we got a homie who's been coming. He comes once a year all the way from Cyprus.
Damn.
And he's about to fight for a WMC title. And he comes out here and he'll spend a month with us, just doing privates, doing
Yeah.
our whole. And he owns a gym out there, a little big gym, um, in Cyprus. And He'll come out here and he's just like such a humble, like open book. Cause like realistically, man, like, he's about to fight for a WMC belt. He's achieved more in the sport than I have in terms of like fighting.
Yeah.
But he'll come out here and want to see how I do things and take little tidbits back or ask me or like I love guys like that. And like I
Yeah.
said, I'm not gonna gatekeep anything. I'm like, bro, this is how I do this. This is how I do that. Like
Yeah.
just like Coach Kieran was,
Mhm.
it's like, bro, this is how I wrap hands. This is
Yeah.
when I start. This is when I do this. So I try to kind of like keep the same thing, but no, man. That was like the feeling. Every time things got hard, I just remember that phrase. No one's kicking down the door to train with the great Leo. I was like, I gotta stop being a bitch. I gotta
Yeah.
stop being a bitch and do this, and do
Yeah.
that, or grab my nuts and make it happen.
Right.
But yeah, man. So the first step was just to get mats. I got some dope mats. I sold all my music equipment. And all my guitars, but a couple. And I bought some dope mats. I got some wall pads, and then I got 10 sets of tie pads.
Yeah.
So I was in there 2 hours just teaching people how to hold pads and running some dope classes. But like 2 or 3 months in, it was just like way too small. The mat space, like being in that place was just dangerous at that point,
Yeah.
just because of how many people were coming. And my stepdad, my parents had come visit us in Oklahoma, and they came in and sat and watched the class. And my stepdad was like, bro, you got to quit your job. He was like, quit your job and get your own building. I was like, all right. So I went, I started looking, and then having already been in business, and the smart thing too was that when I started subleasing, I actually like made an LLC. You
Mm.
know, I like established the business.
Yeah.
So when I went to go get my own building, I could show them like financials and be like, because that I didn't ever take this into account when I was starting out. It was like a lot of landlords and like these commercial property like management companies, they'll want to like they won't oftentimes rent to a first time like to a new business,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
because of their financial liability. So
Unless you got a personal guarantor, which is like, yeah, that's crazy.
which I didn't have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I did that because I was like, look, I've been in business for X amount of months. Like,
Mhm.
look how I've grown. Like, look what we're bringing in. And yeah, from there I got the lease. And my boy Lonnie, Lonnie, he helped me he walked me through the lease stuff, what to ask for, what to avoid and stuff like that. And I ended up with a pretty dope lease, man. So like I negotiated a super low term in the beginning and all of what they wanted to be on the back end. So I kind of
Yeah.
like gambled on myself. I was like, well, in year three, I'll be balling. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
was thinking. I
Yeah.
was like, so I agreed to it. And yeah, I wasn't balling, but I was making the rent payments.
You
So
got there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was it. And then so we're in this small space for yeah, through COVID. And actually, what made me want to leave was my lease was up in September of 2020,
Hmm.
and we had gone through the lockdown, the shutdown, and thank God, like here, the shutdown was only a month
Okay.
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Just being in a conservative state. We
Yeah.
were really and that's why I love Broken Arrow too, which is the actual city I'm in. It's right outside of Tulsa because they're like really like small business minded. So they wanted us to reopen. They wanted
Right.
us to do our thing. They were really supportive about that. But the property management, like my common area maintenance, when the shutdown happened, it skyrocketed. So they were trying to charge me like $1,000 for common area maintenance,
Fuck.
and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I think they were hurting from the shutdowns affecting businesses and maybe people like losing their businesses or what. But that's what made me go, I was in a retail spot. I was like, I'm gonna go get an industrial space. And that's
Yeah.
how we ended up at the Forza that we're at now. Um, Yeah, so I'd moved the cage. I had a cage in storage, and I moved it in there because so it was like a construction zone and then just like an MMA cage. It was really dope, actually. So, because Jimmy was he was training for the LFA world title.
Mm,
We got the opportunity for the flyweight strap, and I was like, "Well, you got to train in a cage." So we set it up in there while construction was happening, and like we would start sparring, and then when it was time to do MMA rounds, everyone we would like carpool down the street to the new space
yeah.
and load into the cage and give
Yeah.
him his MMA rounds. But which actually he fought a kid from the East Coast, Greg Fisher, who's the
Oh yeah, yeah,
Shogun.
yeah. I know Greg. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he was the
From I
double
think
champ.
From Bower House, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
we ended up
good. Greg's
submitting
good,
him.
man. Greg's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, we took him out in like 30 seconds.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Bro, Jimmy's a fucking animal, dog. How did y'all? So how did you guys initially link up? He had. Does he have a jujitsu school?
He doesn't have a jujitsu school, but he's a black belt. I mean,
Yeah.
he's really good. He's been around for a really long time, and
Yeah.
I don't. I had taken people. So his old coach, Thomas Thunderkick or Thomas Longacre, he owns Thunderkick. He
Hmm.
used to have us over, and actually, he did want me to coach at his school. He was
Yeah.
really like, but by that time I had already gotten into my head that I didn't want to work for anyone.
Yeah.
But I mean, and he wasn't on some like sly shit. He was like really trying to take care of me. He's like, dude, we'll paint Forza on one wall,
Yeah.
like you know, Thunder Kick on the other, like
Yeah.
because I think he maybe was a little bit on his outs from the game, which
Hmm.
he's still got a gym and he's still got fighters and they're still like locally, but like he's got other businesses now that he focused on. He's a
Yeah.
sweet dude. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
like him. He gave me my credit in Oklahoma long before anybody.
Yeah.
Long before anybody. But no, I Jimmy was training over there and I'd taken some people over to the spar. I had this girl at the time who's probably one of the best fighters I ever trained, just a horrible human being.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I'd taken her over there and she was giving these boys some work and I think it caught Jimmy's eye. Um and he was supposed to fight locally for a local title, I think. So he had hit me up, and I was like, you know, I'm like I said, bro, they make me out to be a boogeyman here, but like I'm really open with everybody, you
Yeah.
know. So when he hit me up, I was like, absolutely, dude, come over. I love you guys. Like, you guys come over, and he was teammates with Daryl Wilson.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, and you know, Daryl fought Rob
Right.
when he was training with you.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, so Jimmy came. And his MMA fight had like opponent no showed or some shit. And we ended up doing a kickboxing fight at like 145, which you
Oh
know
shit. Yeah. So
yeah,
you
Jimmy's a
125.
125.
Yeah.
Bro, and Jimmy like the clip that they made, because at the time this promotion was on UFC Fight Pass. And the highlights from their fight went viral because Jimmy was like, bro, he looked like Lomachenko.
Yeah.
Just making the kid miss, hitting him with shit. And people were like, Jimmy Flick's like a jujitsu guy. What the
Yeah.
hell? Yeah, so he'd gone viral for like his kickboxing fight. And then we ended up getting like the FCF opportunity, which he won. He beat Jesse Bazzi,
Mhm.
and then we got the LFA world title opportunity, and he beat Greg in like 30 seconds. And then from there, we got the contender series.
Yeah.
So I think after the Jesse Bazzi fight, I think he moved full time to Forza. I just had a more full time like fight program.
Yeah.
Um, so he moved over completely, and yeah, man, me and Jimmy been together ever since. You know, uh, he retired after, so he flying triangled Cody Durden in the UFC,
Yeah.
and then he retired briefly. Um, he had some personal stuff going on, and he did that. Wound up getting divorced, and now he's back. We're uh 2-2 in the UFC right now, but
Yeah.
so I mean it's the UFC though, so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
not a bad place to be 2-2 at, and not
yeah, it's
surprising at all, especially at that weight class. I mean, there's it's just nothing but killers, you know?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, and this is like a something that people need to, I think young fighters need to take into account, man. Sometimes you're hot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you find that stride and like push it as long as you can. Don't get comfortable,
Yep.
because before he retired, um, we were contracted to fight Francisco Figueiredo.
Yep.
And I think it was like a at the time, Big Figgy was the champ. And I think they were setting him up to like make a storyline because at that time the flyweight division, it was new. Well, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't new, but they had just freshly brought it back.
Yeah.
So I think the plan was we were gonna beat up Little Figgy and then call out the champ,
Yeah.
and try to do it like really in an impressive fashion. And at that time, Jimmy, I thought had was one or two fights away from the title.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think we all did it. Yeah. I think everyone was
yeah,
looking at like, okay, like right after the contender series, it's like, okay, one,
yeah,
two fights, and then they got to give him that title fight.
yeah, and especially too how he did Cody Durden because he people don't know he left who is like Mighty Mouse shit.
Yeah.
Left head kick into a flying triangle,
Yeah.
like he chained it. Um, and yeah, on the contender series, he broke records for like most submission attempts in a fight.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, but then he retired, and I feel like in that year and a half, 2 years that he was gone from the game, the flyweight division just like, bro, it's one of the craziest divisions because
Absolutely.
now like these little dudes came out with like everybody's got knockout power now.
Hmm.
Like they're all so
They're
good.
they're
It's
good
incredible.
everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't want to say we're struggling, but we're definitely like we're trying to find that stride again with
Yeah.
Jimmy, and he's doing all the right things. He's still improving. So he lost his last fight, but one of the takeaways was like, man, he's still getting better.
Yeah.
He's showing like he was you know um slipping, moving, boxing worked really well, and unfortunately he tore his MCL in round one, and then he got his rib broken.
Mm.
Uh, s- um, but he went all three, and yeah, man, he looked good. I think it was a winning effort, even though it was a loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see him come back and still being getting better, like I'm really excited about.
No, that's awesome. I know I was bummed for him and you, obviously, when he retired because Uh, man, I think one of my favorite things about being involved in this sport is how often you get to see people's dreams come true.
Yeah,
Because that there's like nothing more magical than that moment to
yeah,
like see like people win a title or get a contract even or even just win like certain fights. There's just certain things and then obviously from a coach's perspective, knowing all the stuff that goes into it as a coach and as a gym owner, you're doing 80,000 jobs people don't even see every day and um yeah, I just love seeing those moments and I felt like I felt like when I saw him win the LFA title, I was like, you know where it's going. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah,
I'm thinking like, oh, they're probably just gonna scoop him. But I like how I do like how they'll do the contender series because it's like they're giving them another shot for more people to see them to like
yeah,
springboard them into the UFC. It's really fucking smart.
yeah,
And you can tell like it's not a let's check you out thing for a lot of guys. Like it's like a guy like Jimmy they have that formula now where they're like, let's show you to everybody, and you know what I'm saying,
yeah.
like how they did with O'Malley and a lot of guys. It's like like I'm like okay, they want everybody to see Jimmy fucking how good he is, and then one maybe two fights and he's gonna get there, and then
So
my boy's got a UFC champion. Like I was so excited, so I was sad when I saw him retire, obviously too.
yeah, so I actually so we got the contender series on short notice.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah, so I actually think they were trying to highlight Nate Smith because he was from Team Elevation, when they did all the
Yeah,
Contender
yeah.
Series
Okay,
stuff.
I can see that too. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think they brought Jimmy in to make him look good, which is
Yeah.
like that's the story of all my
Like a
guys.
striker versus a grappler type.
Right.
Yeah.
But Nate was a junior Olympic gold medalist.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so
Wrestling.
he was,
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, that's the problem when guys pad their records, though. You know, you fight a bunch of nobodies on the come up, and then you
Hey.
get somebody that you supposedly are gonna, bro, Jimmy ran through him like a hot knife through butter. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, no, we took that on short notice, bro. He had all the UFC stars like doing his testimonials on the content on his contender videos, like
Yep. Yep.
Sandhagen and
Yeah.
those who's who, and all those guys came out and unfollowed me. So
Yeah.
I'm from the Colorado, so
Yeah. Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
all following me and stuff, and you know, very very strange, but yeah, they all unfollowed me and we smashed the boy and got in.
Damn.
But
Yeah, you know how I feel about that. It runs rampant in Muay Thai more and more every year, and it's frustrating for me. And I've been talking about it since people would listen. You know, I think people. I finally got started kind of getting a little bit of a platform for people to pay attention. For briefly when when Aaron did well at IFMA in 2017, and it was like my like little 15 minutes of fame, or like I feel like I was like the guy who like ran up behind the newscaster, and I was like, they're padding their records. Don't believe these motherfuckers. They can't fight, and they're like dragging me on
yeah,
camera. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh, yeah, that shit bugs me, man. And I deal with it. For me, I feel like I deal with it to a heavier degree on the East Coast because we're in Maryland. We don't now Muay Thai is legal and we should start to see some changes. I think if we can build some shows up. I've been considering. I was gonna start something with Crenshaw and then um we still might. We still might. I'm figuring it out, But I want to see us have some opportunities just so we can kind of build up, the people from this area a little bit better. But anyways, what I'm saying my point is that, if you're not from the area where the show is and you don't have the relationships with the promoters, you're not going to get the fights and the opportunities that your guys might deserve, even if they are the ones that should be in those positions. And that's coming from someone who's still driving distance from New York. So I know for sure uh it's gotta be even tougher for somebody like you that's out where you are. Even though there's some big shows out there now. You guys have had the ones that do like the $10,000 tournaments and stuff like that,
yeah,
and everything. And I know you have gotten opportunities, but I remember like Dusty, and you always had some people where it was like somebody would be kind of considered like this, and I'm like, man, Leo's gotta get that motherfucker run for his money though, and then it's that tricky part of the promoters having to bring somebody in if they're willing to, or even I know you're like me where I'm like, don't bring me in, I'll fly in, I'll drive
yeah.
in, whatever, you know what I'm saying,
That's
like.
always been our
If
thing.
if
I
that's
think
if that's
that's
what we
a
got to do to like get the fight, then cool. Because for us, it's like we got to get out there and show who we are. And I know you've always been that type of coach because if you're forced to and you come in with that chip on your shoulder, but then you start showing people what's up. I feel like Kobe. I know people were expecting him to not do what he's done, and talk to me about your dog Cody, man.
bro, Coey was an obese kid, man. He came to me during the pandemic, like 300 pounds, bro.
God, that's so
Yeah.
crazy.
And man, he started, bro, he wasn't even supposed to stay. He was gonna go to college to be an equipment manager for a football team.
Oh wow.
So I remember, bro, he would use all the loner stuff. And I'd be like, man, get your own shit, bro. What
Yeah.
are you doing? He's like, to be honest, I don't see the point in the investment. I'm gonna be gone soon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bro. So I out the gate, I hated him.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
hated him. I was like, man,
Yeah.
fuck this
Don't use your
kid.
fucking logic on me.
And bro, the worst thing is, so he was a teenager when he came, right? He
Oh
was still in
shit.
high school. Yeah. That's the other thing. He's about to turn 23. So people don't
Damn.
even know how young he is.
Yeah. I
Um,
didn't know that at all. Yeah.
yeah, he's a baby. But yeah, the pandemic happened. He lost his scholarship, or he lost his opportunity to go be a equipment manager.
Oh
So he ended
wow.
up staying,
Yeah.
and we just trained and trained, and then bro, Dusty had gotten an opportunity to be in one of those tournaments.
Yeah.
Because I had gotten that guy Marcos, I got him an opportunity, but I guess he got scared or something, went radio silent. I got had his contract all ready and stuff, and Amin actually reached out to me to let me know he wasn't going to do it, which I thought was very, very strange.
Yeah.
Uh, like super strange. But yeah, so in order to not have egg on my face with the promoter, I put Dusty in. It was his pro debut. It was one of those $10,000 tournaments.
Right.
Um, but Dusty had gotten a job working second shift, and I took Coey, and I was like, well, I think my elbow was hurt at the time, or I had a wrist injury or some shit, and I was like, um, hey Coey, I need somebody to help me hold pads, and you're big and sturdy enough.
Yeah.
So I'd had him with me in the mornings with Dusty, just training Dusty. And it was like unknowing to both of us, like a little apprenticeship almost. And through that, I think Cody kind of fell in love with the sport a little bit, and he started losing weight, and he started doing like sprints with the team, and started doing the running and the road work, and you know, I he had lost probably about 50 or 60 pounds, and I looked at him and was like, hey man, like, why are you doing all this? Like, do
Yeah.
you want to fight? He's like, it'd be nice to win one. Maybe get in there once and try it out. And man, I was like, all right, cool, I'll get you a fight. So I got him a fight with this kid in Florida. And like they gave me his MMA record. So I just, it was one of those times where I was like, oh, bet. He's had like 3 or 4 MMA fights. No
Yeah.
big deal, you know?
Yeah.
We'll take that fight. Well, I get there and he had like 15 Muay Thai fights.
Hmm.
I'm like,
What promotion was this?
World Class Fight League.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Where are they
Um,
at?
Tampa.
Oh,
Great guy.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. His name's Ralph Garcia. Bro, that show's
Well, it
been
was just a
around for like,
misunderstanding. That's a big fucking difference, though.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, well, I think it was on the other team side.
Okay. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
do nothing
yeah,
about that. Okay. All
yeah.
right.
But yeah. Ralph's always been great to me, man. Bro, and he's actually one of the first promoters that was putting us on.
Nice.
Uh, but anyways, we got there, and then he had an ungodly amount of boxing fights, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna get Cody killed. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have the towel close by,
Yeah.
ready to
Yeah. Yeah.
throw.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh. Uh. They try to set Cody up. I feel like I already know where this is going because I know how he gets down.
Yeah,
So
Cody
what
smashed
happened?
him.
Yeah.
So actually, the kid came
You
out,
knock
and
him out.
actually, the kid, nah, he
Okay.
just battered him
Just
for,
battered him. Yeah.
yeah. So the opening seconds of the fight, bro, he hits Cody with like a Tekken combination, like a 13 piece, like
Yeah.
ding 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 ding, ding, like, and I was just like shit. And then Cody was like, he just put his head down and just started going forward and punching. He ended up driving the kid to the cage, and when the kid bounced off, Cody hit him with a left knee,
Ooh.
like Anderson Silva, Stephen Bonner,
Yeah.
yeah, style. Hit him with the left knee, and the kid dropped. And they start counting him. I'm like,
Jeez.
what the heck? Like, I remember looking at my corner guy. I was like, the
Who is
hell?
that guy? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the rest is.
Because had he showed any like anything like that in sparring or anything? Like, do you have any idea that he had that in him?
Uh
I
Dog,
mean,
yes.
you
like
know, I mean, you know your fighter, you know he's good. He trains with you, he's gonna be fine. I definitely get that. But you never like,
um
sometimes you're like, whoa, shit, I didn't know this motherfucker could fight like that, you know?
yeah, definitely in the gym. Well, it's hard to in my gym, to stand out because it's
Yeah.
like the room is
Everybody's
so
beast.
deep. And he was definitely at that time he was like low man on the totem pole,
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
was he was the underdog in the room. And
Sometimes
I mean
that's what creates that though, too.
yeah, so Kobe is like I'm not gonna give too many of his secrets out
No,
or
no,
put his
no.
business out there, but Kobe definitely controls everything that he can control. So
Uh-huh.
like his fitness, his cardio, his output, his gassing, things like that.
Mm,
And everything that that kid can control, he takes into his hands, and he makes sure he controls it. And I think that has um he's got a very workhorse style,
yeah.
um, very basic, very simple, but that wins fights. And some guys, I think sometimes they get enamored with like Thailand and the Thai style and making faces at each other and being really slick. And
Yeah.
that's not for everybody. If you can do that,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think having your own identity as a fighter is very important because some things are not like some styles, some tactics, some techniques are not for your body type. They're not for even like your temperament as a human being.
Hmm.
Like you wouldn't tell somebody who's not very assertive, who kind of like wants to shy away from the exchange, from the crash, who doesn't have an aggressive temperament, that they need to be a pressure forward exchange fighter. Like
Right.
that's probably not in their personality or their makeup to fight that way. So I think as coaches, when you have a cookie cutter style, it's hard to you can make one guy maybe, but if you look at I've got like 15 guys
Hmm.
and they all fight different. They all fight the same, but they all fight different,
Hmm.
at the same time. They all have their unique styles, and I had to understand that with Cody very early on. So I take the things that he's good at and the things that he's got, and we cultivate around that. And we add new things, we add new tactics, but with Cody, once we got him going, it was just nonstop. And people hate his style, bro. I'm not gonna say it. Like TBA, he should have 3 or 4 classic belts.
Hmm.
He should have so many tournament titles. But again, like motherfuckers get enamored with that tie, like you know, shit, and
Yeah.
it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
We have fights. We have one final. You know, with Cody, I mean, literally outlanded his opponent by like 300 points or like 300 punches.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Good God.
yeah, and the kid won. And I'm and
That
then
was a
I'm
TBA.
sick.
TBA.
That was USMTA.
Uh,
And I get up
it
and
was a
I'm just
one-off
like,
fight.
nah, it was a tournament. It was the finals. And I get this goofball from Texas who gets up, gets in my face, and he's like, he didn't throw one kick the whole fight, so it's not Muay Thai. And I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, what? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
just insane. Now, I mean, we take those things and it's like, all right, well, we have to cater to the dummies that are in the sport. So, we evolve his style, and now he does kick, and now he does knee,
Yeah.
and now he does elbow. Um, but like you can't penalize somebody for loving boxing either, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
do.
like that's crazy to me that there's still jokers out there that have the kind of power and when we talked to the other judge, we're like, well, who trained that judge?
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
dork that's telling me that boxing can't win a Muay Thai fight.
Right.
And he literally screamed in my face. He was like, bro, take him to USA boxing if you want to box. I'm like, you're growing Muay Thai in this country, like
Right.
you're tasked with this, crazy, bro. But like,
Yeah.
TBA same thing. Cody beat up some Canadian, and you know they had a rules meet or a judges meeting. How they scored it incorrectly. That Cody has like pitter patter punches. They're not effective.
Mm.
So I took Cody aside, because I had gotten wind of it, and I was like, "Yo, they're gonna fuck you tomorrow. Like, you got to knock this kid out." So Corey went out at the last tournament of champions he did and knocked this kid out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I can do it if I want to,
Yeah.
like it's not my preferred way to fight, but you know." Because he likes to stay a little bit safer, so he
Yeah.
doesn't put everything into his punches. He's like a Diaz style, But
Yeah. Yeah. Chip away at him.
yeah, yeah, and then go for the kill. Which if you watch Cody, if you watch Cody, he's got the stoppages on there. I think
Yeah.
in at 147, he's only had one fight go to the distance.
Yeah. No, he peppers
So
them up.
yeah,
Yeah, and then
it,
and
it-
then looks for those big shots as they start
yeah,
defending. Yeah.
he's very methodical about
Hmm.
how he fights. And again, it's just it's not a style everybody likes.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things I tell my guys is like, hey, listen, we can come in here, we call them super ties. We can
Mm.
try to be super ties, or we can be good fighters,
Yeah.
and a good fighter is gonna translate to every real shot. That's why you see my guys doing what they do in
Yeah.
bare knuckle, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA. You
Yeah.
know, I got guys in the UFC. I have the number one pound for pound bare knuckle fighter in the world.
Yep.
He's out of my gym,
Yeah.
and he's a kickboxer.
Right.
He's a kickboxer, you know?
Yeah.
So y- there is a degree of like technician and technical savvy you have to have, but at the end of the day, too, as coaches, like you have to teach your people how to fight, you
Hmm.
know? Like if they don't know how to fight, you got the prettiest technique in the world. You could be a super tie. You can lean back and double kick me to death, but
Right.
if you don't know how to fight, what I don't know.
Well, I think it also sets a dangerous precedent and again, and it feeds back into what we talked about a little bit earlier, where certain sanctioning bodies, without realizing it, are padding people up and then setting them up for failure in the long run because they can't fight there forever. So and then the problem is you let people develop these styles and then they go to like an IFMA or any kind of fucking actual international competition. But, like, let's not even talk about one. People are crying about one, like it's ruining Muay Thai because it's not this and that, and I'm like, okay, you're mad because it's not a style that you can fight, and that's where all the money is now, and you fucked up never trying to add a little bit of boxing or whatever it is you're missing into your style. And then on top of it, I had a good talk with Brian Popejoy the other day because I saw an article about somebody wrote a whole thing about how one is ruining Muay Thai, and I feel like the people that feel like that are the same people that have been downplaying anything that we've done and at Level Up since we started, and just even in early on, Virginia is a very, like, what you would call a super tie state. Well, like, we would batter people and like lose the fight because they slapped their foot, like, two times in a round or whatever. And I'm like, because we didn't place our foot very gently on their arm, like we lost the whole, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not
Yeah.
like they're like, "Gah," and they're like folding you in half and shit like that. And I'm like, it's not real. It's not real, and like that version of Muay Thai that people imagine, I'm like, send me a video of that in Thailand anywhere also. Like, it's not that it's not real. It's not a real version of the sport. I'm like, or even the whole thing where they're like, oh, like the first two rounds, like I'm like, cool, we're gonna try to knock you out. If you
Yeah.
come out here bullshitting in round one, I don't care if you're mad about, like, it's protect yourself at all times. You don't gotta worry about it being a 10-10 round. You're gonna be asleep. If you don't want to come out and fight in the first round, we're gonna come at you. And I just remember early on, like, catching a lot of shit for it, and then now it cracks me up that, like, It's like, oh shit, if you want to earn the big bucks, you gotta be a little aggressive and know how to throw your hand. And what's even funnier to me is I think, and I'm sure I know you can appreciate this because you understand what I actually mean when it comes to boxing. Because boxing was always I'm trying to do and I've always tried to do exactly what you've accomplished. You know, my goal was to have uh MMA fighters, boxers, Muay Thai, kickboxing, uh and but I, and have that one cross-platform system, where I'm exactly like you. Like we don't, everyone fights different. They have the same, ingredients. They use them differently and all that. But the anchor to our style is obviously the boxing. And I think a lot of times people hear boxing, they think punching, and I'm like, that's punching. We know
Yeah,
how to slip. We know how to shift. We know how to fucking be elusive in the pocket. We don't need the gloves to block. We can parry, and you know what I
yeah,
mean. Like that's why I feel like for people that train people the way you do, the way I'm trying to, like the small gloves, faster pace Muay Thai is not scary at all. I'm like
no,
that benefits us because I'm like, you guys are gonna be trying to block with your arms and shit, and use your little gloves to cover your head up, and you're gonna get night night.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah. Dude, I have bare knuckle fighters, so it's like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the same
Block,
thing.
block, block with your hands,
Yeah,
buddy. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So no, yeah, absolutely, man. I think it's funny too. You say that because like going back to Chloe, his breakout fight was Harold
Yeah,
in New York.
yeah, yeah.
We won a split decision.
Right.
Watch that fight.
Yeah. I haven't
That
seen that whole thing. Is it up anywhere?
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to check it out.
You, you how?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a split decision.
Yeah, it
How?
was in New York, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so used to that. Like,
And Harold had 2 minute rests to recover.
they did 2 minute rest
They did 2 minute rests
on purpose or on accident. Yeah.
in Thailand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
that was
in
a freedom
Thailand.
show, right?
It was a freedom show, but I can't remember who sanctioned it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was the last time they did
It's
two
usually
minute.
Gamma in New York, but I don't know if Freedom does Gamma. I think they have a different. I think they
I think
use
it's
a.
I think they do ISK now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's exactly who it is.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, they do
but
ISK. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
I mean,
Yeah, we still have,
but
and it's not
well,
intentional. We haven't fought. We still haven't fought on Freedom. And that has absolutely nothing to do with anything other than just schedule wise. It always hasn't worked out or whatever. And he puts on some of the. We are actually. I was gonna reach out in January uh, to try to match up Trey with Lobiondo. Rami does such a good job at promoting his champions on the show, and he does it
promote
in
them
a
like
way
boxers,
that
bro.
what's that?
It's like boxing.
Oh yeah, no, he does, and he does it good in the sense also of like he'll have me fired up because he'll be like, the best 125er in America, Lobiano. I'm like, I'm like, Trey, we gotta take this fight. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
because I'm like, I got Trey. I really want him to focus on the national tournament, and we were potentially gonna have a fight for him on Warriors Cup in February too. So that's why I couldn't.
yeah,
And once Trey gets the 15 fights, then we're supposed to fight him for the WBC title, which Trey really wants. Um, I am. I don't really care about WBC belts right now. I'll just say it like that. Uh, yeah, I'm not super happy with that whole situation. So if we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. But Trey beat Lobiondo at WKA's, and it was a good fight. And I think it'd be cool to see a 5 round fight too.
yeah,
Because I would like to see how we measure up in 5 rounds. And it was kickboxing, so I guess you could say, oh
yeah.
well, he didn't beat him in Muay Thai, so So I definitely want to run that back because I think Trey is the best amateur in the country right now at that weight, and I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I don't think that Steven is right there too, uh, but we gotta figure it out. So I definitely want to make that fight happen
Yeah,
soon.
we fought Steven, man, and
Yeah,
I it was my kid Jeff Wilton, and Jeff had like 7 fights when he fought
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, so like inexperience, I believe, is what got him. But we almost put him out in round one. And
Oh
I
shit,
was with LT. I was with LT in Denver at the
you
King
weren't
of
at the
Sparta
fight.
tournament. I wasn't at the fight,
Yeah, that's
so
tough.
Jeff
That's
was
a
kind
tough
of
fight to not have you there for it too, because
yeah.
it's
So
fast paced.
I'll say this from watching uh the 5 rounds, the way Steven fights, they adjust well, man.
They do.
He
It's a
yeah.
fucking one of the best teams in America.
Yeah. So whether it be his IQ, I don't really know them too well.
Mhm.
Whether it's Steven's IQ at play or the mastermind in the corner who's seeing things as they're developing
Yeah.
and then force like having foresight to where the fight's going to
Mhm.
get, you know, it seemed like round one they were behind with us, and then from round two through five they were a step ahead of Jeff the whole way, and
Yeah.
and that's fine, bro. When he's got 7 fights, like, to go 5 rounds with one of the best, so I was cool with it, and then Jeff went on a little tear after that.
Yeah.
But he's an MMA fighter too,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And Steven's
so
how tall is Jeff?
like 5'6".
Okay.
He's a little
Yeah.
guy.
So he's average, but like yeah,
Yeah,
but Steven's tall at that weight.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
Trey's tall too, but Steven had some height on him.
Yeah, I'd like
So
to see that fight, man.
I
Honestly, because
think fuck. You
I
know
don't
what?
know if
Trey. No, he had eight. Trey had 8 fights. Trey had 8 fights, but he literally like 6 were in 2 days at WKA's. Like so he was
yeah,
like, and he fought some
yeah.
killers in the novice at WKA's that year. You know they have I always talk about the Russian teams that come from New York. He got some fucking and
The
then
Uzbeks.
yeah, and it was man,
Yeah,
bro, those guys
yeah,
are fucking good, man. And
yeah.
um then he fought somebody from Thornton's, Michael Velez, who was had
Yeah.
about 15 fights on Warriors Cup. Um, he fought John Ledesma, who had 30
Oh, wow.
fights on Warriors Cup, and then we did, and that yeah, and I think that put him. I think that put him at 8, and then Loviano was his ninth fight. So I've been putting him in heavy, like how I did Gary, and he's been put
Yeah,
he puts a pace on and combinations together that
yeah,
is what we're talking about before, where you might not like it, and say that it's not Muay Thai or whatever. I'm like, sorry, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I mean,
That's
at the
how
end
we
of the day,
fight.
they're
We're gonna come
fighting.
push the pace.
Yeah, if
So
stop it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, 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 exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
You
you
got the
don't like it,
clinch and
stop
all the
it.
other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways.
Yeah.
I do it in the gym. I'm Kobe's main sparring partner.
Right, right. Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because
What to do. So there's something out
he's
there.
got you know, he's almost got like directly my style. So me and Kobe be having gym wars sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I feel
no.
you. I think that's a that and I'm like that too. I've been out for a couple of years. I hadn't been sparring. And I always said that when I stopped sparring with them, I was gonna retire
Mhm.
because I just always felt like that's such a big part of my process. Um and I think it's good just to keep that like don't forget motherfucker every now and then, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Just to hop
yeah,
in there. I know some shit.
yeah,
But I also I feel like I feel like that's such a strong way to like, man, we need to work on this. We need to work because I'm like if I can see it in there,
yeah.
that's what that would be the thing that if we're facing somebody that can give you some trouble, they're going to be looking for too. So I feel like it helps with that a lot also.
It definitely helps me like so it is a part. It's just like you said, it's a huge part of my process because I'm
Yeah.
like one, two, it's like it keeps me there, you know, like because I didn't really necessarily get to go off, and I mean they weren't shows like there are now when I was
Yeah.
fighting, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. At
In
all.
fact, when I moved to Colorado, they straight out told me, like I remember the gym I was at. Um, but it's funny, Henry Cejudo was there training with the guy I was training with, because he was gonna attempt to do boxing and go try to win a gold medal in boxing.
Oh, for Olympics and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
he was gonna do that before he got into MMA, and I was training at the same gym, and he told me he's like, man, you got to do the cage stuff. They literally called it like that, you know, and like you got to do the cage stuff. So I was like, well, I guess gotta. I wrestled a little bit in high school, um, so I was like, well, let's give this a go, you know. So
Yeah.
I actually before like back in the day, dude, I fought Muay Thai, I boxed, I kickboxed, I've fought MMA, you know, and then recently a couple years ago I did a couple jujitsu competitions as I was you know leveling up, so I can
Yeah.
actually say that I've participated in every combat sport, but
Yeah.
I didn't really get to accomplish everything the same way that the guys are accomplishing now. Like I don't
Yeah.
have any big accolades to my name, you know. So for me too, like it's a little bit for me to like stay in there and feel like I am directly contributing to some of these accomplishments. So I like to do it, but yeah, in terms of it being my part of my process, like it's just like you said, like I'll game plan against my guys,
Yeah.
you know, and then I try to implement my counter game plan, my anti game plan, and then if whatever sticks, I'm like, okay, we got to work on that. Or if they're doing something to me that I like, that I hate in the moment, but I like that's happening.
Yeah.
I'll try to cultivate that. You know, I'm like, all
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I need to feed, I need to water this plant that's
Yeah.
growing right here,
Yeah.
and try to turn that into something. And you know, and then general things that I see in sparring, because spar all of them, I'll take that, and that's how I formulate my curriculums
Mm.
for like the general population. So I'm
Yeah.
like, if so and so and so and so need to work on this, then and then so and so needs to work on this. I'll find like a general topic that will cover that, and I'll theme that for the week or however long. So you know the entire gym is leveling up
Yeah.
together. You know, but yeah, I'll use that to. It's a major tool, you know, and obviously you can't spar forever, and it's probably not good too, you know. Probably as a coach, I don't need to be putting in 36 rounds
Yeah.
a week,
Yeah.
but man,
No,
it's so much
it
fun.
keeps it keeps you in there and it makes you feel good, honestly. I mean, I know for me, like uh I'm just like, okay, cool. Like it just makes you feel like I'm still in here, I'm still
Yeah,
alive. Uh and I was missing that for a while. And it's like one of those things where like I think well probably a lot of coaches go through it where you start to slow down and then you get out long enough and just like an athlete, you start dreading that first day back. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get my fucking ass kicked because I'm just out of shape and my timing's gonna be off, my range is gonna be off, and all the things that make me me are not gonna be there like right away. Especially me because I was literally out for a couple years, like um and then just like I was like, I gotta get because I it helps me stay in shape too. If I start
yeah,
sparring and and I feel tired. I'm like, see, you piece of shit. Like you gotta, make me want to do extra stuff throughout the week too to make sure that I'm not feeling
yeah,
like that all the time. So it helps me all around. And then, one of the big things I do a lot of like, I think I do a lot of shit that's like kind of unconventional. Like I do a lot of little weird, tricky shit that I don't even think to teach. Things that just kind of come out like, stuff that you just know works because you've been
yeah,
doing it for so long. And I that's another thing I like about it too is I'm like, oh shit, I don't even show people this. Like I gotta remember to add this into curriculum or the other thing I really like about it is I have my kind of like my second in command. I've been bringing him up for a couple years now, Adrian. who is gonna he's already a phenomenal coach. I think he'll be honestly even better than I am when he decides to step into that role, just because he's just really sharp, and he's picked up everything about everything I know, like just really easily, like he was just born to have the same information in his brain or something. And
Yeah.
we will link up on Fridays before the boxing class and spar for like a half hour, just like technical, just kind of fucking around. But
Yeah.
he like absorbs every single little thing that I do, and then you see it on Mondays and Wednesdays when he's sparring with everyone else, and then they start picking that up from him, and it just so a lot of those little tricky things and stuff like that he absorbs, and then he kind of spreads it out to the rest of the gym too, which is really cool to see. And you're like, I start seeing people. I'm like, hey, how the fuck do you learn that? You know, and you realize like
Yeah.
it's just kind of starting to. It's like a good virus that's spreading through the gym. You know?
Yeah. 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 100%. Then my kid Joseph's like that.
Yeah,
My little adoptive son, that one IFMA.
yeah.
Yeah. He's bro, I'll explain something. I won't even show him. I'll just
Yeah.
explain something to him. He's like that.
And he just gets it,
He's like
man.
that.
That's how we have a kid, Ian. That so, what weight and everything is Joseph, and age and stuff.
Joseph's so he just won. He's 17. He won
Okay,
IFMA at 112, but
okay,
he wants to do MMA as well. He wrestles,
yeah,
and he's a damn good wrestler. Like he's
shit,
a good wrestler.
yeah, yeah.
Like you would think he was just a wrestler, but we start putting some weight on him, so he's gonna do the 118 in Turkey.
Okay, cool. All
Yeah.
right, cool. Yeah, I was like, because I have my kid Ian, but he's a year younger still, so
Well,
he's
and
doing 25.
Joseph will be the U23
Oh shit.
also because
Oh,
he'll
okay,
be
okay, okay.
18. He turns 18 in February.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I was just like, and then yes, obviously we figured out last night that Gary's gonna be in the same bracket as
Yeah.
Ryan, and I was like, fuck, I hope I don't have a whole bunch of people in the same bracket as you guys, you know.
Yeah.
Most people I don't ever care about, but obviously you're just my brother, and I'm like, fuck, man. But
Yeah.
it's definitely all love always, you know that, and I
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I said, I just hope we end up on opposite sides of the
yeah, me
bracket,
too.
so one of us
Yeah,
gets it.
me
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
But yeah, so Ryan,
How
man,
did you guys link up? I met him years ago at USMTO, the East Coast one that they did,
yeah,
which was kind of a shit show that year, and they really pissed me off, but it is what it
yeah,
is. But I met him and what is his coach name?
Reza,
Reza,
yeah,
yeah, that's right. Reza, man, and this guy that fucking annoys the shit out of me. I don't know. They him this guy and Ryan were in the bracket together, and I guess
together.
he was like walking by, and like Reza was holding pads for Ryan, and they were working out, and he was like walking by like he was like almost kind of like mean mugging them a little bit, like trying to, like, I don't know if thought he was gonna like intimidate them, or I don't know. And Reza was not with that shit, and the next time he came by, he was just like, "What's up?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. No, dude, they're awesome. So, Reza. So I've always kind of like just in passing, like kind of known Reza and
yeah,
Ryan just from the TBAs. And I watched Ryan come up as a child on TBAs, you know.
yeah,
And Reza owns a company, Great Spirits, and they have a few different like hubs
right,
across the U.S. And Ryan came and checked our school out, man, and I guess he started working for Reza and was um he like picked which hub he was gonna work at, you know, so he could train at Forza, and he was
right.
out there. He was in Oklahoma, and then he moved like right by the gym, you know. Think like a weekend, he was like, "Fuck this, I'm moving."
Yeah.
Yeah, And then LT did the same thing. LT came to visit and train, and he was like, "Okay, I'm buying a house," and he left
Yeah.
Colorado.
Damn,
He
that's
left
dope.
Denver to come here. So yeah, man, I got a good group, but yeah, me and Ryan, we've been together for some years now, man.
Yeah.
I can't remember when we linked up, but it's been a while, and yeah, we won a couple TBAs together, or well, we won TBA Classic together, and then he got the Tough World title in MMA,
Yeah.
and then yeah, he turned pro. I thought he won his first fight, but the kid just kept wrestling, wrestling, wrestling.
It was an MMA fight.
Yeah, that was his pro debut.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, now he's put on some weight, and
Yeah.
he's going to. It's not the ideal weight for us,
Yeah.
but he needs to compete. He wants to
Yeah. Yeah.
compete,
Yeah.
so we're
Yeah.
going because he's a 55er.
Yeah.
Um, but we're just gonna go up and say
Yeah.
screw it.
I was telling Gary like to do the one down that's with a 65 or whatever.
Mhm.
Originally because I'm like, man, you only got. He walks around like he might be 178 today just because
Yeah,
he, you know what I'm saying? And like
yeah,
when he's like, nah, he's honestly he's probably not even 178. He's probably like 172 right now,
yeah.
because he's in camp right now. So, uh, yeah, when he's been doing, he did 170 for the Road to One tournament, and I mean, we literally just rolled up there like he didn't cut any weight for that, and but I'll tell you what, I'm like, man, I'm kind of, we talked a little bit briefly about that because we were originally went down to 54 because like at toward the tail end of his amateur career, that's where everyone was. Like that's where all like the big name. I mean, that's always the weight class, And then even
Yeah,
as even pro, like when we're looking at going pro eventually, it's like, Glory one, whatever
yeah,
top show there is, like that's always the weight class.
yeah.
So we were we're like, all right, let's start getting our way down there. And it was funny because like then he went to that weight and then everyone's like, oh, we're up here at 65 or 70. You gotta come up here now. And it was like, man, you fucks. Like in the amateurs, we were trying to chase a lot of these guys down when he was fighting like lowest like 160, and then everyone was like nah 54 this and that, and I was like all right whatever. So then we finally get down there and then everybody goes up, so we're like okay. But yeah, it was definitely the move. Like he's just, and I think he just turned 31, so he's like right in that like that athletic prime. Like he's
Yeah.
never been faster, never been stronger. I swear every time I see him, I'm like, bro, I swear you get bigger every time I see you. Just looks like bigger to me every time I see him
Yeah,
right now. But I'm nervous when I'm holding pads for him sometimes. It just yeah, he's just on right now. This is just absolutely the perfect way, which I feel like well, I thought he showed everybody with the US branch of the Road to One. He knocked out both of his guys, and including Drew, whoever, I think we all know Drew uh uh is a tough fighter. He was ranked number one
yeah,
in WBC. Had fought some of the top guys, and he's no joke. And Gary put him away fairly easily in the first round. And now we're in this stupid predicament with the Canadian guy didn't want to fight him, and then now we're waiting for the UK guy when he's available and shit, which is a fucking it's completely insane to me. Like, how do you? Everyone other Muay Thai fighter in the world, I feel like would kill to like. Okay, all you gotta do is win this fight, and you go to one. I feel like
yeah,
everyone else in the world is like, cool, win, win, win. Just tell me when,
yeah.
you know. And this guy, Warriors Cup's like, we'll do it in February, and oh, I'm not available till June. And it's like, bro, what if like, because to me, I'm thinking like, you can do that, and then at the same time, like, what if one was like, no? get the other guy in here. Like they could, they
Yeah.
haven't yet. They should, I
Yeah.
feel like. But like it's really like to me it just blows my mind that somebody would even risk that. And then now, like, so the guy he's fighting, this guy Josh Hill. So and he took a fight. He took a fight in May. So I guess that's why he's not
Yeah.
available till June. And let's be real, he's not going to be available in June if he's fighting
No.
for an international WBC title in May. I mean, he's at least not going to be ready until July if he
Yeah.
comes out like in fully intact. And
Right.
what's crazy is the guy Josh Hill he's fighting in May just announced that he's fighting Petch in February. So I'm like, bro, Petch might fucking destroy that guy and like
Yeah.
break his orbital or blow his fucking ACL out. And then guess
Or
who's
just
not
knock him out.
fighting in May? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. This shit's crazy. And then maybe he's fine, he is healthy for the fight. What if the guy Josh Hill uh blows fucking Joe Welch's orbital out, and then when is the final fight, bro? It's just so stupid, man.
What if
That
he
shit like that
loses?
only happens to us, you know?
What if he loses that fight? Then how do you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
He
Like,
probably honestly, I think he does. I think he does lose that fight. I think Josh Hill is a better fighter than him. Respectfully. I don't think
yeah.
it's I to me it feels like, and I don't blame him. He had his semifinal fight with Mika Michael from Australia for that side on. They did it on the Friday night fights on one, so he's already fought on one once, which is cool, and everyone knows that he is one fight away. So I feel like he's just like gonna, all right, I'm gonna parlay this into whatever title fights and other opportunities I can, and just stretch it out. I don't
Yes.
blame him. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like I guess I'm just that's why I made that video yesterday, just trying to get one's attention to be like, listen, he's on side quests. Like we want to fight whoever you got at one. Like
Yeah.
we want to be there. We're not there's not anybody else that we're like, oh, we gotta just do this first and then we'll come over. So
Yeah.
to me, I feel like I'm like, why wouldn't you just bring Gary in and fucking uh if Joe wants to fight him later after he does all this other shit and one wants to see it, cool. Have him come fight Gary on one. And if he wins, give him a contract. If he doesn't, send his ass packing, since he wasn't
Right.
that interested in making a priority in the first place. That's what I would do.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. I don't understand uh I don't it one is very confusing to me,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm like, so like they did that show in Denver and they didn't put LT on it. And I was
That's
like,
weird. Yeah.
you know, like why would you do that? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like, aside from the like he's the ticket sales, but like he's ranked with WBC, like he's the guy,
Right.
um, which I would love LT to fight Luke or Eddie Abasolo.
Yeah.
Would take those fights in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little gloves? Are you
Yeah.
kidding? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Respect to those guys, they're amazing, but
Yeah.
you know, it's different with LT, and unfortunately, we just have to like be happy with taking out all these ex-boxing champions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but
But is
no,
that
it's very
something you
strange to
guys
me.
would want to do with him? Or are you guys interested in trying to get him to one? Or are you?
Bro, literally the only reason he even started doing bare knuckle was just we couldn't get him fights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The money's solid too, right?
I mean, he makes more than UFC fighters,
Right.
so
Yeah.
you know. So now we're on that side now because when we do get opportunities, like, well, do we take a pay cut?
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like, bro,
Yeah.
these bare knuckle fights are so easy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously they look like wars, but like they're so easy.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like because a lot of these guys come from like traditional boxing, so they're not used to it. But LT, like he fought Cosmo Alexander, his second pro
Right.
MMA fight. You know what I'm saying? So like he's
Yeah.
he's very well versed with like moving and head movement and
Yeah.
and not using like a traditional shield guard to
Yep.
like deflect punches. But like, so I think a lot of those guys come in at a disadvantage. Also, that we have the clinch.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Wow.
he can Muay
Yeah.
Thai clinch. He can MMA clinch. You know,
Right.
like
And
we're
punch
good
out
at
of
that.
there. No, I love that shit.
Yeah.
I like that aspect of it. And I mean I was telling people when it first when they first they did this big thing with BKFC in Philly when they were like
Mhm.
really starting to kick it off. They were doing this like big tryout thing and they were talking about like a reality show and all this stuff. So I took Luther because I was like,
Mhm.
oh, if you guys are doing a show, like you need Luther. And like he knocks
Yeah.
people out. He's got the best personality. He's like six kids, you know what I mean? He's just fucking
Yeah.
awesome, you know? And after I saw a couple of them, like you said, like I was like, I'm friends with his wife, and I'm just like, bro, I don't know if I like this for you, man. I'm like, but also he still potentially could continue boxing. So I was like, man, let's just keep focusing on boxing for now. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
do that if you want to, like when you're just because I'm like, you might get all cut up and shit. I don't know. I don't dislike it.
Yeah.
Where he's like my brother, and it just stressed me out when I first saw it. I now looking at it, I'm like, yeah, we should have just did it. And we done a lot of small glove training in the gym just in general. I actually like to have our fighters and students I show them a method that I do myself with bag work without the gloves on. Um I'm not gonna get all into it because we'll be talking about it forever, but just to learn how to really punch with your knuckles correctly, and
Yeah.
what you're talking about, the boxers, a lot of boxers punch with their gloves. They don't actually punch with their knuckles,
Right.
and I remember saying back then I was like, man, the MMA guys get into this like they're gonna dominate because they know how to turn their punches over and land with their knuckles, and a lot of the boxers are gonna destroy their hands, and they're gonna be used to, like you said, shielding and shit like that, and the MMA guys are gonna really shine in that sport, and it's definitely seems to be the case, you know?
But they're definitely they're the ones getting the money now. You know, Austin Trout's holding a BKFC or a BKFC title. You know,
Yeah,
bro, we're signed with BYB, but
yeah,
you know, in our weight class, 155, 160, and 165, no one can touch LT and bare knuckle. You
yeah,
know, nobody.
yeah.
Um, would get. We'll take Trout. We'll take Austin Trout out in a round. You know, and we just beat. You know, we beat Barry Jones. And Barry Jones was 10-0 with 10 knockouts in
Yeah,
bare knuckle. Like I don't think he's ever been hit clean in bare knuckle.
yeah,
And we stopped him in round three. So, you know, it seems to be like the MMA guys are they definitely have the biggest names. So I think that's kind of like the business model over there, trying
yeah,
to go after them. BYB, in my opinion, has the better boxers because
yeah,
they're going after they acquired BKB, so they
yeah,
got all the ex-British champions, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fire.
So LT's fighting better boxers.
Yeah,
You know, uh we want to fight everybody, bro.
right.
Like it sucks that there's two organizations going head to head right now.
Yeah,
Because that's always going to be a thing. Well, he's not in BKFC, and it's
yeah,
like, or how's he going to do without the Trigon? Because we fight in
right,
the triangle, you
right.
know. So it's like, bro, we don't need any of that.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
yeah. It don't matter. The
Yeah,
shape don't
we'll
matter.
fight
That's
you in
so
the
stupid.
yeah. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
fight you in the karate combat pit.
Yeah,
Like, how
people are
about
so
that?
goofy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any
Um,
interest in putting anybody in karate combat?
so they wanted LT, but
Yeah.
again, it's like a pay cut,
Money
you know.
wise. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
a
tough
it's
now.
a
You get that
it's a
bare knuckle
it's a
dough.
it's a crazy pay cut. It's a
Yeah.
crazy pay cut.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I it is what it is, man. Right now, like my biggest thing with bare knuckle, and now that I have a few bare knuckle guys, because Dusty's doing bare knuckle now too.
Hmm.
It's like trying to like change that stigma was like, you know, it's like you said, it's like, oh well, Luther, maybe when you're done boxing. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it like I don't want it to be like
Like a
now that
the end of the
that
road
we're
thing.
involved, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like whoa, 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 we can do anything we want. We just
Yeah.
nobody wants to fight LT, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's hard to get him fights.
Yeah.
He's an ugly style to prepare for, and he'll put your lights out. You know,
Right.
he it is. It's like he's like fighting the Tasmanian devil.
Right.
You know? So like um and but yeah, we won the King of Sparta tournament last year. You know, he boxed in the first fight, same night, kickboxing the second fight,
Yeah.
and then the third fight we did a 5 round MMA fight, and we fought
Damn.
Luis Pena,
Oh
who was
shit.
yeah, and he beat Luis.
Right.
Um, I thought we were gonna get a call from the UFC off that, but you know,
Yeah. Is that
I don't
so? So you are still, thinking the MMA or Muay Thai or something
know.
from not
For
nec not
LT,
not necessarily like stuck on, not say stuck on, but like you're not like, oh, that's it, we're only doing bare knuckle. Like you are
no,
entertaining
no,
other
no.
stuff.
We want, you know, like I saw Chastain was talking stuff when the WBC rankings come out. If he wants to fight LT, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he'd have to take a pay cut because nobody's gonna pay him what he's worth. But you know, there's some names
Yeah.
out there that we would love to just, do a solid for whatever promotion and, you know, take a little bit of a pay cut for the right opportunity. But man, I think right now my biggest thing with LTE is like platform more than anything is putting him on the right platform
Yeah.
because he should be a superstar.
Right.
If you watch his fights, you watch look at his resume, look at who he's fought. He's one of the most experienced people in America
Yeah.
in terms of pro fights. You know, he's at like almost 70 pro fights, winning record across all. He was the first Lethway fight in North America. People they think it's Ladudu, but
Yeah.
you know, uh, LT was the first. He was the
Yeah.
first one on that card in Wyoming
Right.
to fight Lethway, and then Dave Leduc fought that evening.
Yeah.
Uh, but we tried to fight Leduc also, and he
Yeah.
wouldn't.
I remember
You know,
that.
like yeah, we've tried to go after like the top, whatever sport, the top guy. You know,
Yeah.
like bro, he fought Josh Johnson. I think if you watch that fight too, when he fought Josh in Glory,
Yeah.
Josh had one big moment. It was the
Yeah.
epic moment. I mean,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
foot swept him and kneed him, and he went down.
Yeah.
But the rest of that fight, to the decision and everything, LT beat him.
Right.
But Glory's got that weird criteria about like spectacular techniques and shit.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't ever understand like their thing. Yeah, I don't know.
well, and then when they came back, they didn't re-up LT. They didn't honor LT's contract.
Really?
So
Yeah, they
yeah,
just kind of I feel like they just kind of gave up on America in general.
yeah,
And
but
I mean, I think I'm pretty sure we've talked about it in the past like I blame well, I think you know who I blame, but I think they trusted some people early on to, get the ball rolling on finding US talent, and I think that was mismanaged really badly. And then I feel like they were trying to get on track towards the end, when they're doing those shows in Florida, and I don't know why they stopped coming to New York cuz those shows fucking sold out every single time. Uh I'll tell you off air why they stopped coming to Virginia if I haven't already. I'm pretty sure we probably already talked about that, but um yeah, that was a frustrating thing cuz like that was such an exciting opportunity, and it was a big door opening up for American strikers with Muay Thai, and then it was you know Lion Fight was there, and then Lion Fight started not paying people and kind of falling apart, and that was
Lion
like the dream
Fox.
shit. And then
They still
uh
owe LT.
oh
He was on the last card and he won their
yeah,
belt,
oh
bro.
that one, oh that's
Yeah,
right,
he's the Lion
fucking
Fights
dude.
champion, and
They didn't pay
they
him at
stiffed
all,
him. Yeah, they didn't pay him.
bro. But yeah, and then obviously COVID hit, and then it was just like, all right, we're not gonna worry about it now. It does sound like I've been talking to some people, and it does sound like they might be kind of starting to like peek around a little bit and see what's going on over here again, which would be cool. Um, to be completely honest with while we're waiting for while we're waiting for to find out what happens with Gary's situation, like we're entertaining that. We're entertaining K1. Like one is where we want to be. But the thing is, we can't wait. We don't have a year to wait around, and we already did that. You know what I'm saying? Like he went. No one wanted to fight him for his pro debut. It took us a year to find somebody. He fights Brima, who had 10 pro fights, 60 amateur fights or whatever, and then right back at it. No one wants to fight him again. I'm hounding all these promoters for whoever was like on the rise. I was trying to get the fight with Luke throughout their whole rising, just because Luke was such a big name, and um, I'm always like, okay, well, if this is the person that's the top person, like we need to see how we match up because that's how we know for where we think we are and if we have stuff to work on or whatever. And we couldn't get that fight. We couldn't get any of the fights that we were campaigning for. And then 2023 rolls around and so think about that, right? Also, think about so 2021 he makes his pro debut. Like pretty much all 2022 is just no, 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 no fights, no everyone saying no, and then all the way to 2023 is when we fight again, and it's three fights in one night in 2 hours. Like that's like some LT shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some
Yeah.
shit like a guy like LT will do. Uh, and then boom, right back. You come off of that, the names are getting thrown around again because it's like, oh, that's pretty dope. Like he won three fights in one night. Like he beat a 25-2 infusion ISK world champion from Holland in kickboxing. Like he got a little bit of buzz. He's a WK world champion now, and some opportunities started getting thrown around, but we're right back to it. Not no nothing again. And then luckily, we had the relationship with Warriors Cup, and Chris, offered us the spot in the tournament. And then here we are again. Like he wins it, he does everything he's supposed to do, and then we're right back to that. Uh, right back to hoping that somebody gives us the opportunity to do what we already fight for. Already fought for. So I definitely feel for LT. I'm glad he's at least getting fucking paid like he deserves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so and that's like my primary thing is I just want the world to know about him,
Yeah.
you know, because it feels like I almost feel like we will get the opportunities once the world knows about him. So it's just about
Yeah.
getting him exposed,
Getting him out there.
exposed to the right crowd and getting him put him out. Like, bro, I did a real. So he knocked this kid out, right? It was our first opportunity at the bare knuckle world title. LT smokes this guy, right? The ref's like 8, 9, 10. Do you want to continue? I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
stumbled off into
You're
the
supposed to say
corner.
10.
Yeah, bro, you said 10. Like, fight
Yeah.
is over. What are you talking about? And he's like, come to me. And he doesn't respond. He's like, come to me. Doesn't respond. He's like, do you want to fight? Do you want to continue? And he's like, So they let the fight go on, and then LT floors him again, sends him face first into the ropes.
Yeah.
You wave that fight.
Right.
No. Counting,
Yeah.
counting. Answers the count. Bell rings. We lose the decision. And that fight was supposed to go 6 rounds. It got changed to 5.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so if we had that other round,
Like out there while the fight was happening, or they like
no,
last
no, no,
minute type
like
shit.
weigh-ins.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, so if we had the extra round, LT would be undefeated right now.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. This is bare knuckles, still new territory for a lot of
Yeah.
states,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know they're
That's
running into
tough.
these problems. But yeah, man, it's just I did a little reel on that, and it did like over 1 million views.
Nice.
So it's the traction's there. He's starting to get his due. But yeah, man, why it's not like why he's not like a household name in American combat sports is just like crazy to me.
Yeah, it's weird how like the machine just I don't know. They people just pick who they pick. Like I was, said about with Gary, like Gary fucking uh was ranked number two at the beginning of the year at 168. Drew was number one. He beats Drew, and like they haven't even just swapped that. You know what I mean? Like we're still
Yeah.
number two on the thing, and like didn't not even like congratulations, or like oh shit, like our number two and our number one guy are fighting. Like that's
Yeah.
worthy of like not a single post, not a peep, not a nothing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like if and when he does go to one, it's gonna be number one probably at that time ranked WBC, and if you want to get to one, make sure you're ranked by us and that type of shit. And uh,
Yeah.
it's frustrating, man. It's super frustrating. That's honestly that's part of the reason why, and I'm kicking myself for not continuing to grind when I did was doing the late night level up, and I did this little rebrand here to focus a little bit more on just like Muay Thai and the combat sports stuff. But part of it is because like we said at the beginning of this, like there needs to be, I'm not trying to say I'm gonna be like the Joe Rogan of this shit, but we need somebody's gotta like be doing this and making sure that like everyone, like we're not just talking to the guys that everybody's already fucking paying attention to. Like if LT would want to come on here, I'd love to have him on too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
That'd
this
be
is
great.
and it's uh because of what I'm doing, it's not gonna take off right away. And I think that's where I fucked up with late night level up too. Was I was like, man, it's getting like 300 views or whatever. Man, fuck this shit. But I have to fucking keep going until it hits. You know what I'm saying? And that's this.
Yeah.
So this time I'm committed to it. This time
So
I'm not gonna give
the
up.
funny thing is too is that's why I started fellowship, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But like people don't realize it's like, bro, it's a lot of work,
A lot
man.
of fucking work.
It's a lot of fucking work. And it's like, bro, you
It's
like
a full
me,
time job.
yeah, you wear like a billion hats. So it's like, it's not just like getting on this motherfucker and talking to somebody, because then you gotta edit it. And
Yep.
then you gotta, you know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah, whatever length the conversation was is usually like double that to edit.
right. And so you got to listen to it. And
Hmm.
then you got to like if you have separate audio, if it's not meshed together. So like our podcast studio, like my video is done one way, so I can get like nice quality, and then my
Yeah.
audio is done through an interface so I
Oh
can
yeah.
like
So you gotta
really
match
like
it up.
get. Yeah, so you're matching it up, and then you take out a clip here, you shorten something. Now the audio is out of whack, and you got to go
Yeah.
through and fucking find the audio and sync it up. And it's just
Yeah,
like
that's hard.
I'm sure that's why these guys with lots of money with like better known podcasts, like they hire somebody to do it.
Right, right.
They're paying somebody, or there's like equipment out there that you just push a button and it syncs
Yeah.
everything for you.
Yeah.
But I don't have those kind of means, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna
Uh,
switch to the OBS stuff soon. I just gotta sit. Like you said, I'm wearing all these hats, so I gotta sit down. I need an hour or two to sit down and fuck with it, and I don't have an hour or two to sit down. So that's why I've just been zooming. But
Yeah,
um
but no, like this seems better though because you can have now with technology, like you remember Zoom calls like even a year ago, it's like, man, I'm not
yeah, it
trying
was
to
all
watch
fucked up.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now
Yeah.
it's like this
Yeah.
is watchable.
Yeah, and
Um,
the audio just all matched up too, and it gives you automatic separate audio only file right when it ends. So in a
yeah,
couple of weeks, I'm gonna sit down and get all this stuff up on this, like try to get it on Apple and Spotify and all that stuff too.
yeah. So then the other thing too, like with Zoom, you like if we had to be in my studio, like when is that gonna happen? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like we gotta fly you out here,
yeah,
that's more time out of your
yeah,
life.
yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Which is
So
tough because that's what I when I originally started late night level up, like my vision was. I wanted to build a set in the gym and make it look like a late night talk show with the desk and the city
Yeah.
in the background and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And I still hope to at some point get to that. Obviously, if we can get to that 100,000 subscribers and all that shit, like that's the first thing I'm doing is spending whatever money I'm able to somehow pull in on this, if that ever is an option. I would obviously just put right back in and start bringing people out. Uh, and I was actually, when I was working with TCB for a little while, I talked to the guy Jeff Wild, who is the owner. He owns TCB and he owns Cagezilla. Fucking awesome guy. I wish I wish I could have kept working for TCB. And I'll tell you, obviously, I'm not easy to work with either when it comes to these shows. And I'm definitely I'm definitely starting to realize that too, because I'm like, I want shit done a certain way also, I want
Yeah.
the quality of fights to be what I think they should be. If I don't like the officiating, how things are being scored, if I think that's incorrect, if I don't like we butted heads about the gear, like I made him buy. I didn't make them, but I fucking bitched at him until he bought all new gloves I was bringing my own elbow pads because these motherfuckers here are like, oh yeah, they can throw elbows and no elbow pads. I'm like, not on my show, not on a show that
Yeah.
not no amateur shit. I was like, you guys are fucking psychos. And
Yeah.
but that's the funny thing sometimes about this area too is like people they want to do that shit, but they're also the people that only want they're gonna go like elbow somebody and blow their fucking eye out and then like never fight again and just show that clip for the rest of their life. Like, oh, I remember when I fucking elbowed that guy who, that had making his amateur Muay Thai debut and I fucking blew his
Yeah.
face out. And I'm like, we're not doing that shit, man. That doesn't help build the sport. And anyways, we were talking about setting up something there because he actually what he did was really cool. He leased this big ass building. It used to be a movie theater. Uh, and bro, it's sick. That's what I was trying. I remember at the time we just didn't work out time wise. I was trying to get you out to fight on that show because even though um well, whatever. I was trying to get you to fight on there because the venue and the setup and everything is amazing. I mean, Jeff does an incredible job. It looks so professional. Like the setup is really cool. Like I said, it's an old movie theater, and you walk in, like where would have been the concession stand. There's a bar. They got screens showing everything. There's upstairs you can look down. And they have all the audio visual stuff up there. He has like a full production, like, like what would be in a truck, like upstairs. And um, I was like, man, we should set up a podcast here. I'll set up my fucking late night thing like I want to. Um, and what we could do is fly the people out and I would have like I would be like, so we bring Leo out, we do the podcast, we do a seminar, so then that way we got people coming to train with them, and it'll be like a whole thing, it'd be like instead of
Yeah.
just flying you out for to just do the podcast, which is still awesome. Uh like you can make it a little bit worth your while too, and like put a little money in your pocket, give you a chance to like show everybody how fucking dope you are, and then that'll probably help spawn some other seminars and stuff like that if you actually
Yeah.
even had time to, which you probably wouldn't anyway. But it's just like it was a I was really excited about that idea, and he was into it, and then just I couldn't with the way things were going, like I just had to step down because I was like, man, if things aren't going to change with some of the stuff that I'm not happy about, like I can't be a part of it. So
Yeah.
but anyways, that's the goal is to get to that point with this at some point. And I still want to do the same thing, like when I
Yeah.
bring people out, like have them come do the seminar and I just think that'd be cool, just make it a little bit more worth your while to be out here for a couple of days too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm from there, so I wouldn't mind coming out.
I know you wouldn't. I know you would come
Yeah.
anyway, and everybody would love to see you here for sure too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not I don't know. That was my goal, and I did actually build my little podcast room in the
Yeah,
gym.
it was sick.
So like,
It's
yeah,
still
it's
set up.
still, huh? Yeah,
Is
it's
it
still
still
set
set
up.
up? Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Come out.
Yeah, you know, I will.
Uh,
I definitely will. I need to, man.
Yeah.
I need to go. I need to come see you. I need to go see Manny too. And my Manny, it's funny because now Manny is in Orlando, where like my best friend, which I it is odd as it is, like you remind me a lot of my best friend Drew that I grew up with. Um, I think that's why I'm just naturally like I just fucked with you right away because you remind me so much of him. And we were like inseparable growing up, like all our lives. Like you know, people would see they'd be like, if I walked in a party, they'd be like, "Where's Drew at?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I know he's with you, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah, he moved and he's a rapper and producer, like makes beats. He did some stuff for West Side Gun, like so
Okay.
his his like engineer, he linked up with an engineer up here. Sky Ryan had Side Effect Studios in Baltimore. Ryan got a job at Full Sail. So you know, like that's like
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? They got
yeah,
everything there,
yeah.
like a the probably one of the most professional setups ever because you know you got to have all the equipment there so you can teach the students.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the school, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's funny because I almost went there too. They have you know they have film programs and stuff like that. But anyways, so he Ryan got the job and was moving down there. So Drew, you know, they were in the middle of working on this album, and Drew was like, "I'm gonna move down there too because he's gonna have access to the studio, and obviously people are gonna be in and out." That's how he met West Side Gun and Conway and a bunch. He's worked with a whole bunch of other people too, and opened up for even more. And he's a huge wrestling fan, so.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they got the NXT. I don't know if you follow
Yeah, yeah,
wrestling
yeah.
that much, but they got
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
NXT there, and so it's been really dope. So yeah, I've been meaning to get down there to visit him and Manny, and I definitely want to make a trip out to you. And I shit, hopefully I can bring figure it out and bring you know bring Gary and Trey and a couple of the guys out too. I think that'd be dope just since
Yeah,
you
bring
know
them.
have get some good cross training and shit like that. I think that'd be awesome to get the squads together. You know?
Yeah, I think that's important. Just
Yeah,
sucks, man. I'm a little landlocked, you know.
yeah.
I'm near nothing, but
Well, you
I
made it
don't know.
fucking work, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're one of the best coaches in the world, so. It
Thank
worked
you.
out, you know?
Yeah, it's going good, man. It's
Yeah.
going good.
I'm so fucking
I
happy
feel
and
like
proud of you, you
no,
know?
thank you, man. I
Yeah.
think I might not be getting my due fully, but it's starting. It's
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
It's starting. So,
If
uh,
you know, you know. That's for
yeah,
sure. You know, the people that know, obviously. Yeah.
yeah. I think Joseph going out there and winning IFMA really like
Yeah,
opened some
that's always
eyes.
fucking yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
you
That's
know.
a big one. You're checking all those, you know, checking all those boxes off here in the UFC. You know, I still believe Jimmy is gonna have that belt wrapped around his waist at some point, man. He's just too
Yeah,
determined and he's so fucking good. And then LT's, yeah, like you said, LT's top dog. In my opinion, LT is 100% top dog. Don't matter what organization you talk about and bare knuckle, and obviously we know what he can do. Coey is one of the nastiest motherfuckers I've ever seen on the whole planet and shit. I know. What's up? What's next for him? What's he got going on?
he's going down to Miami in 3 weeks. We're challenging for the 147 freedom title now.
Oh, sick. Who's he
Yeah.
fighting for that?
He's fighting. Fuck. I don't know. The kid's been fighting out in Thailand, some
Yeah.
southpaw. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot his name. That no disrespect, but
No, I get it. Trust me, bro.
I got a fucking
You
lot
got a
of
lot of fights
names.
going on. Yeah, all jumbling around in
Yeah,
your head.
yeah.
I'm
All
trying to
and
think, watching something
especially
like I know I'm sure I gotta know who it is. Are they from the East Coast?
yeah, he's from Florida. He fights on that combat night or whatever they do
Yeah.
Muay Thai fights in the cage.
Yeah.
He's a Florida cat.
Florida guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's
What
good.
team? What
Um,
team?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I just seen him
One of them
fighting.
Florida teams. He trains with
Yeah,
Florida man.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited.
You got Cody. When's that? What's the date of that?
February 15th.
Oh, sweet. All right, so that's coming up quick
Yeah,
too.
that's
And
coming
then
up.
LT, what is LT? Got anything booked right now?
March 22nd, we're going to the UK to defend his 165-pound belt.
Nice. You're gonna and then you're gonna get the whole 6 rounds. Well, not that he needs it, but
Yeah,
no
yeah.
weird rules this time.
No, we're gonna need it on this guy, bro. He's fighting a real like this has been the hardest fight he had on his come up.
Yeah.
And they fought to a draw the
Oh,
first
they fought
time.
before. Okay.
Yeah, but
What's the guy's name?
James Kennelly.
Okay, cool. And I'll check him out.
Yeah, just a British boxing champion, and
Bro, them motherfuckers and they that's another place that they know fucking they know British or they know bare knuckle boxing over there. That's a
well, yeah, man, it's
You got all
they've
the
been
travelers and the fucking the gypsies and shit over there. That's what they
yeah.
fucking do. Yeah.
That's what they do. Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
doing like bare knuckles breaking through here, but man, I really got schooled on the history of it when we started doing it and started going to the UK to fight these guys.
Yeah.
It's been around for bro, they have like young guy like 19, 20-year olds fighting bare knuckle out
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
bro, I watched this kid named Harvey Dossett, bro. He had just turned 18, made his pro debut at the last O2 show we were on. And bro, watching this kid operate, like, cause here, like you see like new guys doing bare knuckles, kind of like a car accident a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah, yeah. They're just
you know? Nah,
yeah.
these fools are like,
Yeah.
like very, very, very sharp. And I was just
Yeah.
like, why aren't you boxing? And then I talked to him in the back, and he sounded like One Punch Mickey from Snatch.
Yeah, it's quite
And I
partial to
was,
parent could
uh,
play.
yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I
And
need
but
no
what I
caravan from
derived
me,
from
ma.
it, yeah, what I derived from it was that he just loved to fight.
Yeah.
He just
No, it's in
like
their
he,
blood, bro. They have a
yeah,
whole fucking way of life, like they're travelers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They live in their caravans and they move around and it's really kind of fucking cool. I feel like I have this odd like I'm drawn to it for some reason. I'm half Irish, so I feel like I probably have some gypsy traveler blood or something because I'm like, man, that sounds fucking dope. Just fuck all of this, you know what I mean? Let's just live our life and just live outside in this beautiful open spaces and punch somebody in the face every now and then, you know?
yeah. That was
Uh
like Street Fighter Ryu
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah,
video. Yeah,
exactly. Just
yeah,
travel around and yeah, there was a I like I said, I think I know it just but it just as a combat sports of all types nut all my life. I'd been on to and then there's a guy named Tommy Gunn who was kind of like before it was all organized like it is now and like an actual sport was kind of like the top guy like in America like he was the guy like on the underground like you know what I mean and
yeah.
he was actually in this area for a while so I got to meet him and man you shake his hand and you could just tell it was like oh God like just like how he grabbed your hand, like the way it felt, you could tell like he felt like he could just crush a brick. And I'm like, I can't imagine this dude mashing me in the face with with the bare knuckles. I'm like, it's insane. Look him up sometime on YouTube. You see, he's fucking
Yeah.
a little bit taller than me and just wrecking people. And his son actually uh was focusing more on actual boxing. So he was boxing on some of the amateur cards that Luther was fighting on Tony Jetter's promotions around here too. So yeah, we got to see and the crew came out like the bare knuckle traveler crew or whatever. It's a dope ass culture. It's cool that you guys are getting to like go overseas and be in that mix and stuff like that. That's
Well, and
fire.
that's what I tell people, like, and that's what it took for LT to actually get that number one pound for pound, like in bare knuckle. It was
Yeah.
like we went like the who's who out there. We
Yeah.
fought all of them, bro.
Yeah.
All of them, literally
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
His first bare knuckle fight was Rico Franco, and he actually went on to become the BKFC champion. But LT stopped him, and then we fought Nathan DeCastro, who was a WBO champion.
Yeah.
Stopped him. Yeah, we fought Dan McGraffin, who was a like three-time bare knuckle world champion. Stopped him.
Yeah.
Then we fought Kennelly to a draw, so we're gonna go erase him in March, and then yeah, and then we fought Barry Jones,
Yeah.
who's you know Barry Jones fought like Kell Brooks and
Right.
like
Right.
just the who's who in boxing, and like I said, he's 10-0, 10 knockouts in bare knuckle, and yeah, we stopped him too. So
Yeah. Fuck
we
yeah,
want us,
bro.
yeah, we want Austin Trout, but the BKFC's is over there and we're over
Yeah,
here,
that's
so
tough. Well,
you
hopefully
know,
at some point. I mean, I do. I always, I think that it's so important for all these organizations to have a counterpart because hopefully it keeps everybody honest. Like, you got to make sure you're paying the guys right. Otherwise, they got somewhere else to go. Like, I think when there's
yeah,
not anywhere else to go, then a lot of fuck shit happens. So,
yeah,
I think it's good in the long run, and then hopefully, as it keeps building, maybe they'll do some cross promote, like like this the way boxing does, like so put it all on the line. How there's like you can win the WBO, the WBC, the IBA. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that would be sick. So
Unified. That would
hopefully,
be
yeah,
sick.
you get a unified champion at some point. That's got to be coming the way that it's growing. Like it's such a fast growing sport. I feel like something like that's gotta be on its way, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so, and bro, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing another promotion spring up, and start to give, I know BKFC is starting like an amateur series, not
Yeah,
bare knuckle, but they'll box in the 7 ounce,
like the
you know,
MMA type gloves, kind of.
the sparring MMA gloves,
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah. Those are tough.
Yeah,
That's dope. Shit, yeah,
so
maybe
like,
I'll get involved in something like that. I'm definitely
yeah,
I've been leaning. I've been, I want to run something. I really want to do a Muay Thai, and I had the Rye show briefly. The last show that we did was one of the best Muay Thai amateur Muay Thai shows. I feel like, uh, um, yeah, it was one of the best amateur Muay Thai shows. Period. Jaleel
yeah.
Barnes is on there.
Oh,
Uh,
was that the four-man, the WBC
yeah, the
gym?
foreman
Oh, that was sick.
Preston.
Yep.
Um,
God, that was
Le
so long ago.
I know,
But
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
we did the
Lael
girls one.
Shafi
Yeah.
and Janet
Yep.
fought on there for the WBC title. I had a sick 155 four man that just fell apart at the end, and it was just ended up being like random. I had the backup. I That's how on top of my shit I was. I had reserve bouts for all those tournaments to make sure that if somebody got injured, somebody could step in. And the reserve bout ended up just being for the WBC title because
Oh
all the
shit.
yeah, all the other people just like dropped out. It was the craziest thing. And then there was just a bunch of like dope ass fights. There was a whole bunch of people that were new that were coming up that went on to, do some good stuff or whatever. So it's like, man, I know if I have a little bit of freedom to do my thing, like I can put together some dope fights. And that's my I but as you will all know, the hard part of the business and the whole thing is that it's not just about the dope fights, unfortunately, as much as it should be. Like you gotta kind of play the game for a while to get to that point. Because at one point, like Lion Fight, I mean, shit, in the beginning, like that was
Yeah,
it. Like
that
if
was
you
the
weren't the
shit.
shit, like they weren't putting you on there. If you know what I
Right.
mean? Like you had to be somebody. Like even getting on the undercard. We were on the very first East Coast show on the undercard. I got Patrick on. Like they wanted to know like what we had done, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they were even
I
looking at that.
I had tried to get on one of those cards as an amateur.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was, but I just remember speaking to somebody and they're like, "All right, well, you got to sell 50 tickets in like
Yeah.
New Jersey." And I was
Yeah.
like, "And if you don't, you got to buy them." Or it was
No, they
something
weren't fucking
crazy.
around. Yeah, we sold our
And
tickets. Yep.
I was like, I'm in Colorado.
Right,
Like,
right, right, right.
you
Yeah, they
know,
didn't care.
talk to me about Colorado. I saw
Yeah,
170 tickets,
right.
but you know, like, I was like, all right, well,
Yeah,
there
they
goes
didn't
that.
care. Yeah, it was all the way up in Connecticut at the Foxwoods. We sold 60
Yeah,
tickets. We sold 60 tickets. Uh, I, they had some help from the Friday Night Fights people, Justin, and I think Eddie might have been helping a little bit. And so we fought Powell, who Gary's fighting in February, oddly enough. And I'm pretty sure it was still like the amateur card, undercard was still kind of like, all right, well, these guys are going to sell tickets and we want them to win. And then let's just find some other guys that sell tickets that we don't want to win. And, that's been like the story of Level Up, forever. And then we went up
yeah,
and we sold our tickets and we won still. So, and it was funny because I always laugh because after Pat won that fight, Chris Tran, we ended up fighting for Warriors Cup, and Chris, I fucking love Chris to death. One of the best people I've ever met, and just in Muay Thai, but just all around and stuff like that. He's without him, we wouldn't be where we are for sure because he's given us so many big opportunities. But yeah, he would be like, "Oh, this is Patrick Rivera. He beat Pal." He would like
yeah,
introduce him to people and like, but it was funny because everyone in the area was like, "Oh shit!" Like, damn, he beat Pal.
yeah.
Like, okay, because it was like, who the fuck are these guys? You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
We had a few of those type of moments
yeah.
too.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's always funny how that goes. You get that one fight, you get on and you get your foot in the door, and then people start realizing like, oh damn, these guys can fight. They got a whole team of people that can do this shit. This is kind of cool.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I'm gonna let you get going here soon. I know you got shit to do. I got a fucking whole day's worth of work. I gotta try to cram into the next 3 hours too. But yeah, I'm planning to do a documentary. I don't know if we talked about this at all in our little chat, but so that era from like 2010 to like 2017, like to me it was like the golden era of American Muay Thai. Like yeah, and you were there firsthand too. Like there's a lot of people like in the game right now that missed out on it. That I feel sorry for almost because I'm like it was magic. Like we had Can't Stop Crazy, CSA had all their champions and they were doing all the stuff that they're doing. And Lion Fight was like Lion Fight was like how one is now for
yeah,
people that don't know. And then Glory landed in 2013. So then there was this whole other avenue for people to like make money, and everything was just looking up. And the community was like really fucking, it was all love for a while. I mean, there was obviously always still like some fuck shit going on, like there always will be, but just just like when somebody had something going on, it was like everybody piled in. Like there was like a real, to me, there I felt like this bigger, stronger sense of community, and like Kevin Ross and Tiffany and Joe Schilling, and there, you know what I mean? They're just, we had all these people that everyone was rallying behind, and then you wanted to see like the next people starting to come up, and it was just like a really exciting time, and I'm sad that it ended, and I'm sad that a lot of people didn't get to experience. So, anyways, my the goal is to shoot a documentary on that whole era, and Lion Fight Glory, and talk to the coaches, and then obviously I'm going to talk to my homies that were on their way up during that period. And definitely got to come get a shot of the you still have the canvas.
yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah, got to come get a shot. That's a famous canvas too. So,
Yeah.
tell them the story of that real quick before we cut.
So I got one of the OG Lion Fight canvases in my ring because
Yeah,
when I opened my gym, I got my ring from Coach Kieran, and he blessed it. He blessed
yeah,
it, bro. Yeah.
yeah,
So
fucking
yeah, no,
legendary.
that resides. You know, there's a lot of famous butt sweat has been on that ring.
Whole lot of
Uh,
feats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And continue to
Um,
have famous butt sweat on there.
yeah, right. But no, I got a really good idea for that documentary, bro. You should do a GoFundMe, raise 10 G's, and then take your homies to a different country to shoot it and then never put it out.
That's dope. Oh
I'm a
shit.
genius, bro.
Yeah, that would be fire. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be fire. And then just never
might have
show it
been
to
done.
anybody.
Might have been done already, but who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah, who
Yeah,
knows?
that would be super dope. I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yeah.
Uh yeah. Yeah. No, on the serious, the other thing I'm gonna do though too first is I'm gonna just edit together like a bunch of footage from that first and make like an extended um like almost like an extended preview,
Yeah.
like maybe like a 10-minute like just like some of the fights, some of the stuff that was going on. I might talk a little bit over it too. And then I'm hoping that'll generate the buzz to like get everybody interested to like, be a part of it. I already talked to, Carrion's like
Yeah.
whatever you need, bro. You know what I mean? He's always been so gracious with his time with us, and we're some of the OGs from the Coaches Clinic, and I feel like he always showed us a ton of love, and so yeah, he's down. Kevin said he's down. I talked briefly with Tiffany. She's interested and stuff. So, reached out to some of the other people like Chaz and all that stuff too. But anyways, I'm gonna put the I feel like when you first say it, no matter what, everyone's kind of gonna be like, what are you gonna do though? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
my idea is like, let me put this like extended trailer almost of like the vibe that I'm trying to portray and show like, that it's like coming from a place of love, so that people will be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to be a part of that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. He should get on there, Mark Beecher, bro.
oh yeah, no,
Because
Beecher,
Beach
yeah.
Beach is like a behind the scenes guy that I don't feel like
Which
gets the
shouldn't be
credit.
to him. To
Yeah.
us, he's not.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
obviously,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
But
But
like,
that's
you're
exactly what I'm saying is like there's
because
probably a whole generation of people right now that don't know that like Mark Beecher is the
no,
fucking man,
he's the
which is
fucking guy. Yeah.
insane. You know what I'm saying?
If and you talk about that little era, bro, he was like involved with all them dudes.
All of them,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? All of them.
Partnering, helping them,
Yeah.
spar like everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was right there at the forefront of all of that, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's
Beecher
my
is,
that's my
yeah.
fucking boy, bro.
No, top of the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, bro, I just call him. Like we'll talk. I call him randomly. Just be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
what's up?"
Yeah.
We don't even talk coaching, bro. So
Yeah.
like, I love that. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's dope.
Nah,
Um,
he's great, man. I love him. Definitely, yeah. Him, Dorian Price, like I especially want to, because
oh,
obviously
Dorian's the shit.
the fighters were at the forefront, so they had their time in the sun and stuff like that too that they fucking deserved. And yeah, I just want to try to see if I can extend that a little bit and
Yeah.
encapsulate that era in a movie that people can watch forever, so everyone can hopefully at least get a feel for it. But yeah, the people especially like the Beechers and the Dorians and that might not have got as much recognition even during that time. I want to make something for them too, you know?
Well, those types of things are like inspirational. Like look at Formula One, and they did the Drive to Survive, and then
Yeah.
now it's like so many people are like interested in it. But it's the same thing, the Can't Stop Crazy videos,
Yeah.
like how many people that reach. Because like we're not on fucking TV. We're not on, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like if you're not in social media involved in the world, like no one's really doing that,
Yeah.
and I think that one documentary that was supposed to come out, you know, I think like I was excited for it, but like you said, there was no follow through.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened with it. I don't really want
Yeah.
to say the names,
Yeah.
but that's why I made that. That's why I made that
Yeah,
joke.
yeah. Hell yeah. No, I'm
Um,
I'm right with you. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, trust
but
me.
like those types of things, man. Like in this age of like social media and the internet, like that's really like the types of things that are gonna, I think, if like put our sport out there for more people. And I think that's too, like, I think on the detrimental side, I think that's why like promotions like One care about your followers, you know, because
Absolutely.
that was one of the things, one of the things that kept LT from the Denver card on One was like his followers on social media,
Yeah. No,
you
they
know,
look
and you
at
got
it.
to think some of these, but at the same time too is like the guys gotta the old school guys gotta make the effort too, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy you can have an amateur that has a bigger like a amateur with like less than 10 fights can have a bigger platform and following just because they're good at the internet, you know. So
What's
some
I'm listening to you. What's Lawrence's IG?
it's LT
LT
Smash.
Smash, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not coming right up. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, not
Laurent.
yeah, 10,000 is fucking criminal. Like,
Well,
and
and it
that's not
wasn't that,
bad. A lot of
bro.
people don't even have that, but yeah,
But
he
yeah,
should be
when we
100K
took
easy.
over, when we took over and started telling him that he needed to put effort into it, bro, he had like 2,000 followers.
Right.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like,
Dang.
but
Yeah,
like guys
that's
like him, they like to fight. They don't like to do this like
no.
internet stuff, you
Yeah.
know? Um, I get caught up and it goes in waves. Like I'll get on my social media game for a little bit and then I fall off because I'm like, man, this is just taking a lot of
It's
kids. Like,
hard,
you know what I'm
man.
saying?
It's
It's hard
another
to keep up
full-time
with.
job, bro.
It is another full-time job. And you know, I know fighters that keep fucking videographers or social media guys on retainer. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
you're smart to
Uh
do it,
yeah, but
but
yeah,
it
I don't know.
costs money or, you know, and I've been bullshitting because I spent a lot of my creative energy before I opened Level Up doing videos for Crazy 88, and it's fucking stupid because I'm a great videographer. I'm a great editor, and I'm not using it like I should for my own gym. But it's just
Yeah.
another full time job. So it's like, that's why I'm trying to do this. And I'm working on a program now. So luckily I have a guy, say, who is him and another guy, Adrian, here at the gym are fucking like I would be miserable if I didn't have these two guys here. Adrian, I talked to you a little bit about before earlier, is I'm crafting him. We joke. I call him my Padawan, to take over as me at some point. Is usually always in the corner with me now. Um, just phenomenal and super smart and just yeah. I mean, he's like my guy in the chair, but he'll beat your ass. Like he's fucking great. And then I have my guy Say, who has stepped up for me, like covering classes and doing all kinds of stuff around the gym, and is starting to get some interest into the videography and photography and stuff like that. So I'm like pushing him, like, bro, let's like, all right, here, film this for me, and like, because I'm like, you could
Yeah.
turn that into a business. Like your ultimate goal should be to get your obviously we want to win and do everything, but you can't do this forever. So as
Right.
we're on this path, like you should be thinking about like, okay, this is I need to be building this along the way so that when I have to jump off of this path, like I can jump right into something that's already working and making money and is more successful because of what I've done with fighting. So I'm trying to get him built up. I showed him how to edit and like started a highlight video for him, and I was like showing him how to like catch the beat, and like we picked the
Yeah.
song, and like and he made a sick ass highlight, so now he knows how to do that too. So yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I'm also involved in that stuff with these guys too, to help them be more like me in that sense of like if I need to like sit down and like film a podcast and then go make a highlight and all this stuff, like at some point hopefully if you don't if you don't want to open like a plumbing business or something like that, like
Yeah.
which is probably smarter, and you actually want to open a gym one day, like
Yeah.
get good at all this shit now. Like start with
Yeah.
cultivating your social media skills, like get your videography stuff, get your photography stuff, like work on that stuff now. So yeah,
And then
definitely, definitely helps to have
make the relationships too. You got
yeah,
to work
fuck
on.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like I've done a good job of going like just being not an in-between guy because I'm not a fence sitter. You know, if you're my people,
Yeah.
like
I know that about
just
you. Yeah, I was gonna say I
from
know that about you. Yeah.
just from recent conversations where we had,
Yeah.
like even if you're my homie and
Yeah.
you say something out of pocket, I'm gonna be like, yo, keep that, don't say that around me,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Yep.
And the next one I'll just exit myself because
Yeah.
if I fuck with someone, like I fuck with them, you know, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sit there and sit in a room where someone's bad mouthing somebody that I like. But
Yeah.
so I don't wanna say I'm like a play both sides guy, but like I navigate the community. I navigate the scene
Yeah.
because and you can see that too. Is like my guys, we get where we're at through fighting hard fights. Like
Mm.
there's no easy fight. I can't remember the last time we took an easy fight or
Yeah.
even got gifted an easy fight. But
Yeah.
we make them look easy sometimes. But that's
Yeah.
a whole different thing,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but you have to be like easy to work with too, you know. If you're
Absolutely.
coming up and you want to have a gym or a fight team, you want to be a coach, you have to be easy to work with, you know. I think anyone that's ever dealt with me on a promotion level is like, the guys make weight, they're on time.
Hmm.
Coach Leo isn't like, fucking, are you
Causing
gonna pay my,
chaos and yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, I'm just like, I'm easy going, bro. I'm like, hey, so and so on this way, cool, all right, we'll fight
Yeah.
them, like, whatever, we don't
Yeah,
fight them.
it's a tough thing. People, I don't think people realize like how like the like another you're talking about part time like full time jobs and shit like the work that goes into first cultivating the relationships with all these promoters and sanctioning bodies and everyone else that we have to deal with in between, and then also navigating sometimes the beef that they have with each other as well too, and
Yeah,
not trying to pick sides, but also trying to make sure that you have some set of, some form of loyalty to the ones that have been looking out for you as well too. And it's fucking tricky, man, because
yeah,
like everyone is on their island a little bit in this sport, and you're another guy like me that's, you know like when you have fighters, first of all, when you have fighters that can fight the hard fights, like you're gonna have to be cool with multiple promotions because there's not one promoter that's going to be able to keep all your people busy, you know
no,
everyone has different audiences of potential opponents, and your job first and foremost is to your athletes. So you have to make sure, and that's what I try to explain. I think sometimes because I have some stronger relationships with certain promoters or organizations or whatever, just because I've
yes,
been dealing with them longer and stuff. But uh, and then I think sometimes people will get frustrated, like, oh, you're doing this or you're doing that tournament or doing. I'm like, remember, I'm not in the whatever you do business. I'm in the level up business. So I have to
yeah,
first and foremost, I have to make sure that whatever opportunities that increase, our next opportunities are where we're putting our focus at, and that sometimes does get tricky to navigate because people sometimes have no problem telling you, man, fuck that. Then you know what I mean. You're like, all
yeah.
right, well, if that's what it is, that's what it is. This is where I'm at. I gotta do what I gotta do. I'll just keep dealing with who wants to fuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the same thing too. I'm fortunate enough now to where I'm like, I have my regions that I like to go to with my
Yeah.
guys. And and now I have a lot of promoters all over the country and the world that are like, well, why don't you bring your guys to my show? I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I'm like, hey, bro, go through your messages.
Yeah.
Go through your
Yeah.
emails
Yeah.
and look back at 2018
Yeah.
when I offered to cover all my own travel and sell X amount of tickets just for an opportunity, and you weren't fucking with me then. So,
Right.
you know, what do you want me to do? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I I have the promotion that I work with there now, and
Yeah.
they take care of me. So why am I gonna like jump ship now? You
Yeah.
know, or
No.
not jump ship, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I
You
feel
know,
you.
especially too
I
if
rock the
you're in
boat.
that region, and you know how most regions are, they're trying to cut each other's necks.
Yeah.
You know, so like if I
They
work
are
with
cutting each
one,
other's necks.
right, and if I work with one who put me on, and then I go work with the other one, what am I doing to the one that put me on? You know, so I want to grow too with the promotions that helped Forza become what it is. You know,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's a tough scape to it's a tough landscape to navigate without hurting people's feelings. But you know, I think I've done a pretty good job, and I think a lot of that just goes to like having integrity and being
Yeah.
willing to take fights and be in less favorable scenarios to get an opportunity.
Yep.
You know, I think for the first couple years that we were a team, I just saw everybody stay ready, and I would pay attention to the shows, having shows, and have
Hmm.
guys preparing for the fallouts.
Yeah. Yeah. Because and
I
certain
look at
people
yeah
how they roll and shit like that. Yeah.
yeah.
We've done the
I
same
see a
thing.
team. I'm like they're
Yep.
gonna pull out, and they're gonna need somebody last minute, and we'll
Yep.
slide in.
Just
You know,
slide on
but
in.
you'll be
Yep.
and the other team will take this fight that they normally wouldn't take because they think you're coming off the couch.
Yep. Yep.
Bro, we iced so many people on short
Yeah.
notice. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you have to. I think as an amateur and a new pro, you got to be ready to go on a
I
moment's
agree.
notice.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that I mean that's essentially how I built Forza. You know, the
Me too. Yeah, same thing. Taking those fights that we're not supposed to win, and then it does the promotion. Does the promotion a favor too, sometimes in a way because you got a guy who sometimes like on Warriors Cup, they got guys that can sell tickets and fight, and because you
yeah
kind of got to be that up there now, like them and Freedom. I feel like like you better be able to do both, unless you're just like really high level from another area like how you are.
yeah
Like you better be able to do both because otherwise there's five guys waiting to take that spot that can do
yeah.
it, that can fight, can sell tickets, all that stuff. So
All right, my brother, I gotta get
yeah, big
going.
dog. Yeah, me too. I
Yeah
can't believe this is the longest one I've ever
yeah
done. It's fucking awesome.
yeah.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
we'll do a part two.
Yeah, absolutely. I love you, brother. Thank you for your
I love you
time,
too,
and
bro.
I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right, bro. Take
Peace.
it easy.